That is a long 2 minutes when you're just sitting
It's
there listening to it.
especially when we have an episode as exciting as this. It's a long 2 minutes.
Absolutely. Welcome, everyone, and I do mean everyone. Normally, we are joined by our Patreon members alone, but today we've opened it up for all to join because it's Comic-Con, Zach. We're Comic-Con. I'm Comic-Con. You're Comic-Con.
I'm excited to be Comic-Con because
We're all Comic-Con.
What an amazing day, and
That's
what a
right.
crazy, just in collecting in general, just what a
Yeah.
crazy last couple of weeks. Because I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I've been getting slammed with figures.
Oh,
So
yeah, for sure. And we'll definitely talk about that.
yeah, it's going to be a fun
Anyways.
Fine Edition segment. But San Diego
Welcome.
Comic-Con is big, and Black Series
Yep.
Cantina is here to cover it. So thank you all for joining us live. Normally,
That's
we're
right.
joined only by our Patreon members, like Mike said. If you would like to join Patreon, I just put the link to join in the chat. You can join for as little as $2 a month just to show some support for the podcast. So we appreciate it. But we aren't alone, Mike. We do have
Nope.
a very special guest.
We do, but I don't want to bring them on right now. First, I just want to say, hey, it's episode 76. We're chugging along. We're doing it.
That's a long way, right?
It's a long way.
We've done a lot of episodes.
Yeah. But yeah, we have too much to talk about today to banter too much. But I just feel really weird because we didn't have our Patreon banter. So I'm feeling like, no, I got to talk more before we got to start. But
Yeah, we didn't have our warm-up period.
Yeah, let's just start. Cold turkey. I mean, just no warm-up. Just starting cold. We're going to bring in Sebastian. Hi.
How's it going?
Good. Tell us about you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm Sebastian. I run a small Instagram, YouTube account called Corellian Collectibles. So I'm bouncing around social media a little bit.
Severely underfollowed. Everybody needs to go follow Corellian Collectibles. It's the most deserving page on Instagram that has not a high following. Everybody has to go following. It's a great page. You have great content on there.
I don't talk trash too much about the line, but every once in a while it's warranted. But yeah, no, I mean I've been collecting black.
Maybe you
series
should.
Maybe I should. Maybe I get
Negativity. It seems to sell.
Mhm.
So, just I don't know.
No, I've been collecting Black Series since the beginning.
High five.
I remember walking into Toys R Us with Wave 1 sitting there on the shelf, and now I'm 460 in or something like that. So I mean, I've been in on since the beginning. I lows, highs. I mean, I remember.
Yep.
There were times I'm like, I don't think this line's gonna make it. I think it's gonna go under.
There were some dark days.
There were.
Honestly, I thought that after the first wave.
Yeah.
I bought Darth Maul from Target, and then I didn't buy any for a long time. And then I think right before when Wave 2 hit, Amazon had them all dirt cheap, like $10 a piece. So I'm like, this line's not going to make it.
I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, we have so much Star Wars to make 6-inch figures of, and you're going with like Greedo in Wave 2.
Right.
Like,
in
really?
Wave 2.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I just being part of it for so long these past couple of years, I think 2023 and now like a day like today, seeing all the reveals and pipelines, it's the peak of being a Black Series collector for sure.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. And these are the days, I was thinking about this earlier, Mike. These are the days, this is why we podcast, because we love talking about days like today so much, and the line in general, but specifically days like today when you have high energy, you get some great reveals, you got to talk about it, so we get to yap about it.
My wife doesn't want to hear about it at all. Like she just does not want to hear about any of this stuff.
So it's great to have an audience listen to us live, another person here to throw ideas to and say what we liked and didn't like. But I do have to say before we get going on the podcast, this is the only day where I will accept a Sebastian on the podcast. So today is the only day Sebastian is acceptable. So I got to get that out of the way. The name, if we're doing a tier list of like guest names, I can't lie, it's near the bottom. It's near the bottom. So,
any Sebastian,
yeah.
Any Crab, any Shaw.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I have not heard a Little Mermaid joke, and I don't even know how long. So thank you for the elementary PTSD that I'm.
Yeah, no problem. First of all, I'm sorry. Secondly,
no, it's all good.
Yeah, I know how it is. In 5th grade, a lady came in and was teaching everyone French, and she's like, "Hey, I'll tell you your name, your equal name in French," and mine was Michel. So guess what?
Oh, yeah.
Guess what the entire class called me for the rest of the year?
Yeah,
Michelle. That's right.
And Sebastian's a teacher, so
yeah,
he
you
knows
know how
all
it
about
is. You know how it is.
Anyways, little kids.
Star Wars, right?
Yeah. So I want to talk about Sebastian's collection real quick because I do got to say those shelves look awfully familiar. They look awfully familiar. They're pretty nice.
Yeah, no. When I was getting my room set up, I was looking for suggestions, and then I'm like, well, you know what? I remember seeing these pretty cool shelves. I'm gonna send a message out to see where you got, and they're so cheap too. Like I know they're like poor, and I'm on a budget, so like it was great.
I think they're like $42 a new, and then some of these I got in a quote unquote beat up box for like $29, $32.
Yep.
But the box comes with like a couple of tears, but the shelves are perfectly fine.
Yep.
But yeah, I really like your setup. You have a really clean room design.
It's very clean. Yeah, very clean.
I love
very
the
spaced out.
It.
Yeah, nothing's cluttered. It's very nice. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like when you're a toy collector, you want to spend money on your toys, but like you have to spend money on a way to display them too.
Yep.
But like you don't want to.
This is my wife's influence. She's
sure.
great at decorating and everything. So she's when I said I want to set up the room a specific way, she came in and was kind of the supervisor while I was putting it together. So. That Empire Strikes Back thing, is that a wood one from Target? That one up there? Yeah.
I got the same one.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep, I got that one. I got the Return of the Jedi, Star Wars, and Mando, and it worked out because they're right above the shelves.
Because it works out. It looks good.
Really
for sure. Yeah,
I'm happy with it.
All right, so I know Fine Editions is going to be pretty long, so do we want to go ahead and jump into that?
Yeah. I mean,
Fine addition to my collection.
Did we all kind of get the same things? I feel like since they all kind of shipped, we all probably got the same things.
Yeah, probably. Let's do guest goes first.
Yeah, guest
on
goes
Final
first.
Editions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I posted a lot to like social media, but I'll go through. I'll go in order the way I got them. So I did get the Last Command 4-pack in, which I was overjoyed with because I read them like when I was younger. So I do have these 3 here. I got rid of the Luke
Joris.
because the Return of the Jedi one is much better looking. I didn't even realize it until I got it in, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, something is drastically off with it. Mike, you got it in too.
I haven't opened it yet though, but yeah.
Okay, something is just off. I mean, they can't get Mark Hamill's likeness.
No, that's a
figure
problem
form.
for
But
sure.
that I don't know. It was weird because like the promo pics, I was like, okay, it's just a re-release of the 40th one. But when I
They
opened
should have
it
just
up,
made it 100% re-release.
They should have. And then like gluing the chest piece down was just, yeah. So I didn't keep that one. Somebody wound up buying that because I have the 40th one. So they actually came from Shop Disney because I'm impatient, and whoever gets the stuff in stock first is where I usually go for. So they wound up getting it in like a week and a half before Pulse did. So I got that from them. GameStop, surprisingly, came through pretty good with, these guys. So I was overjoyed about this.
Nice Sidious
So when
and
you
Super
say
Battle Droid.
these guys, you have to remember that we're also an audio
right,
podcast.
yeah.
So yeah, you got it.
Super Battle Droid and Darth Sidious last
There you go.
wave of the fan channels there. I originally got the Super Battle Droid with 3PO, and at first I was like, oh, I'm not going to get the single release, but then the cleaner version looked nicer, and then like I collected the Attack of the Clones line back when they came out, and they were just filled with blast effects. So the fact that it came with that little wrist effect was incredible. So I'm like, okay, that's a sell.
Yeah,
for sure.
Sidious, the only thing that I was really thrown off about it was the blade seemed orange to me instead of red. So I just grabbed an extra one out of my bin, and I'm like, that needs to be red. It was too close to the way, which one am I looking at? I guess the way like the new Balin and Shin colors were. So it felt like they overcompensated with that by releasing the orange one. So
they just need to give every red lightsaber character, they just need to give it the Darth Vader shade, because it's a nice deep, like especially the Kenobi figure Vader, that lightsaber, it's a thick red saber, it's amazing. Just give that red, like just make that universal. That way we don't have all these multiple different shades of red lightsabers, because in the movies they're all the same, prequels and OT, they're all just the same red. So
I do. I think even like Star Killers was a little orange.
It was,
because
it was
a
lot lighter.
Exclusive one, so it different shades are just killing. I think they even do it with some of the other ones. Like I saw a review with the 40th Luke compared to the new Last Command one, and one was like a darker green than the other one. I'm like, why do we have all of these different shades of greens and blues? Like, just I don't know. Keep it the same.
Just get a standard. Make
it should be standard.
Continue with that.
It should be standard, and the plug should be standard too. I mean, so should the head size. Like these things should be interchangeable.
Yeah,
I think someone suggested like a neck peg, like the neck peg where it's the neck, and then just make them all the same. And
make it the same. That way, you could put different heads on different bodies, and
And it'd probably be easier on the Hasbro team if it were just universal like that. But they just make it a little convoluted, making every figure have different sizes like that. But
I mean, even the blades, like when you look at like Shin's, where it's got the little notches in for her hilt, that's a brand new mold. Like why waste the fun that could have been our cloak for the single release, but no.
Good luck with that.
I got the Mandalorian Night Owl in from Walmart. It was pretty. I mean, this one didn't overly excite me, but it's
it's a blue Mando.
It's a blue Mando. It's it was in the show. Like it showed up. So if you're gonna make an action figure out of it, that's fine. And it's more Mandos to stand behind, like Bo on the shelf. So, not the most exciting, but I was excited about it. And then actually what was really nice was the last ones I got in last week were the Target exclusives, the Privateer and the Droid set. And I was really thrilled about that because I managed to cancel my original order and get them when they were 30% off on that May the 4th deal.
Yep.
And then with some Target rewards, I wound up paying like $40 for both of them. So that was right up my alley. So I think the Privateer looks probably the coolest out of like the generic Mandos, even though it's another blue. I don't know, something about it. It's just really cool looking.
It's a good mold. I mean, it has been since the Death Watch Trooper came out with it. Like, it's probably one of the best molds in the line, honestly.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I didn't.
I was gonna say, I really like the white stripe on the helmet on that one.
Yeah,
I think it's really nice with the silver.
No, it is, and I mean, like the paint apps, like even with this one, it's got like the markings, so it's exposing like the Beskar underneath it, so it's not just a plain color straight through. And one thing I did notice, I don't know if anybody pointed it out, but this is just because I want a new Jango Fett in the line, but the knee pads are actually separate pieces on all of the male Mando bodies, which I didn't realize. And the only reason I knew it is because it was slightly turned in the packaging, and I thought it was going to be a problem, like it was glued on wrong, but the knee pads actually do like a full 360. So the fact that those are separate pieces.
That mold has always been unglued, and that was an accident from the factory that they just ended up liking. Like Eric and I had a conversation about it. Yeah. They're like, oh, this really works. We should just not glue it.
Well, and it does. And like I said, with all of these Mando molds, I just keep saying to myself, when's the new Jango coming? When's the new Jango coming? And when I see
it's a perfect body for him.
It is. And
I was hoping today was the day, but.
Well, and not only that, like I had no idea that they even used it for Glavis Ringwald Mando until that came out. Because when they advertised that, they were like, "Oh, it's new from."
It's all new, or yeah.
But I think it's fantastic that there's those parts that have been used for so many different Mando, but they're so well hidden that you don't even notice it unless you're really looking at it. That, I mean, reuse that's the way to do it for me. One thing that I noticed about the R5 and the droid pack though is they glued the head slot closed, which
is weird.
Yeah,
I saved the motivator from the original one because I was like, well, he doesn't come with it, so I'll get rid of the other one and say, oh, I lost it or something, and then it wasn't coming out. So then I wound up swapping it with the other head. So I wound up rebuying the R5, and I'm like, I just need one full encompassing R5 now. But
I don't know why Hasbro, like on the new mold, they glue the side pieces. Which is dumb because obviously you don't have to. You can pull it off if you want to pry it off, and the new R5 doesn't have it glued. But then they glue the top like that. It's just like, why? Just leave stuff. Stop, Hasbro. Stop gluing stuff. Just stop
making it more complicated than it has to be.
Just stop gluing stuff.
Yeah. It's an extra step. They're using the glue, and like even with the Last Command Luke, like who would have complained that the chest piece
the chest came out? Yeah,
glued down.
Yeah.
Like.
That's
how
weird.
The original figure was. We all knew it was being reused, so like just leave it alone.
Stop gluing stuff.
The last one I did get is the. I already had one, but I got an extra one. Is the Clone Lieutenant from the Target 2-pack, and I don't know. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, they're advertising it as the Clone Lieutenant. What are the chances that we're actually going to get the correct one with the correct color? And in my brain, I'm like, slim to none. I don't think they're going to do it.
Probably not.
I got an extra one just because I figured, well, what I'll do is I'll doctor it up. So I actually used some blue vinyl from my wife's cricket machine, and I just added the stripe up to the top of the helmet and the 4 dots to make it an accurate Clone Trooper Lieutenant. Again, it's not the correct blue, but I mean, technically it's the same blue that they used with the original one. So he's on my Attack of the Clone shelf. Yeah, I was really surprised that the blue matched that well.
I noticed today, whenever they pipelined that for TVC, Chris still called it the Lieutenant, and I'm like, how do they still not? And it was just the picture of the 501st Trooper from the Ahsoka show, and I'm just like, how do you still not know? Like, did
He was on
Lucasfilm tell
vacation.
him it was?
He was
He was
on
on
vacation.
vacation. that
He
day.
The
missed the
fact you
note.
didn't get the note.
Come on. Yeah. Well, that's all I got. I mean, like I said, July was pretty fun. Nothing over the top exciting, but I mean that last Command 4 pack from the time it was pipelined up until I got it in hand. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
having a character like Joris, nothing's out of. I don't think anything's out of the question as far as like what we
Well,
can get in the 6-inch line now.
honestly, after the pipelines today, I agree.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All
So
right, Mike,
that's-
I'll jump into.
Land Speeder Luke is filming his Darth Maul speeder review right now, and Land Speeder Luke, I love you, but go away, go away.
I try so hard sometimes to be the first one to get
Rubbing
things
it
in
in.
before he does.
It's not
and
worth it.
just-
It's not
doesn't
It's not
happen.
worth it.
It's
doesn't
impossible.
happen.
It's-
Luke
It
lives
is
in the future.
impossible.
It's
And
too
are
much
you-
trouble.
You're gonna have that on like Monday, right? So pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm
Sebastian,
trying to
right?
have it in. Yeah. I managed to track somebody down who was going, who had no intention of buying it for themselves. So I'm like, pick one up for me if you can. So they did, which I'm thrilled about. I mean, I would, knowing how soon it's going to ship from Pulse, I would have been fine waiting. It's just in the past, I noticed like when they have Comic-Con exclusives, they've come out in like September or October. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, why? You have it readily available to sell. Just put it up online. So yeah, I'm hoping they're going to ship it out when Comic-Con's over. So hopefully I'll have it mid next week. So
Nice. All right, so my fine editions, I have a ton. It seems like I'll start off with a lot of it's just the same that Sebastian had, but I also have the Mandalorian Privateer from Target, which this might be one of my favorite ones. I love the paint chipping because you see the silver underneath, which is really nice. I love the white stripe, and it has that little bit of red on the side, and I think it's a really good tone against the blue and then the silver face mask part of the helmet. I also got the R5 and Pit Droids pack, which, you know, now that my collection is separated into factions, I don't really know what to do with this, so I'm going to hopefully try to do a little 3D print to have the Pit Droids in a little shop or something. So we'll see how that goes. So I picked up some 3.75-inch figures. This is the
Hold on.
first.
Hold on.
There's a caveat, though.
Do I have to get a new co-host?
No. They aren't for me, so I'm going to explain.
Okay, I'll let you explain.
I was at Ollie's last week, and they had these Ponda Babas for $9.99. And Wilbon commented on my TikTok and was like, "Hey, get me that Ponda Baba for my Cantina." So I went back and grabbed them because apparently, like, they're going for like $30 on eBay now ever since the HasLab funded. So I got one for Zooboy and one for Wilbon, and I'm going to give it to him at ICCCon.
Did you get a third to sell?
No, I thought about it, but I did not. I left the two there. And then I also got for Wilbon. Though these aren't even fine editions, but they're in my stack, so I'm just going through it. They had this Ahsoka and Grogu set for $4.99, which is actually crazy, but it's not mine, I swear. It's not mine. Don't screenshot this and show me with a QVC figure. It's not me. It's for Wilbon.
It's not my mom, I swear. I'm holding it for a friend.
I don't know how that small figure got in there, officer.
Well, Wilbon says that you're showing off his pickups.
I got another Obi-Wan Kenobi Darth Vader.
Is that your third one?
I've lost count. I need them for 3D prints, man. You always need an extra Vader, you know.
Sure.
And then I picked up, I guess I can show these ones off loose now. I have 4 of the Super Battle Droid single releases now,
Dang.
which is great. My 2 from GameStop showed up today, and they took a flight from the mailman to my porch, which I sent to Mike today.
I saw that.
Just
It was a good.
the-
It was a good toss. It was a good throw.
Yeah, but if it were something fragile, it's not a good toss. I need a
But it's
gentle
not.
set down on the porch,
Oh my! They're just toys. They're made of plastic.
No,
You're
no,
gonna
no, no,
open
no.
them.
Nope.
not
Whenever
like
we
you
get a
stomped
new
on 'em.
Anakin, there better be a red carpet rolled out by the
You want
mailman,
hand delivered
set on my
by
porch.
white gloved like men in like fancy tuxedos, just like
Yeah, I
yeah.
want like when the King of England or the Queen of
Right.
England they show up.
Yeah.
I want it presented like that. I
The
don't want a
wandering
mailman
minstrel
throwing
following it around. Yeah, of course,
10
I get
feet.
it. Sure.
But yeah, so 4 single release Super Battle Droids. My one's from GameStop ship, which is awesome. The one I am most excited about, Darth
Yeah.
Sidious, which I picked up 2 of these, so I have the loose one here in this pose. And yeah, like the lightsaber, it needs to be a more vibrant red. It's just a little too light, but it's still an excellent figure overall. I'm absolutely in love with it. Probably going to get this one signed at ICC if Ian McDermott returns, so that'll be 3 years in a row of getting an Ian signature. But I'll probably just get rid of this blue one eventually, since I have the carded one and then this one, and I'll be set. Like, I won't ever want to meet Ian McDermott again, but I need to meet him for this one.
He's gonna look at you, but you again.
I know. He's going to get pissed, probably. He's going to be like, get out of here. Don't ban my podcast, but I did get another Veal's Toy Store clone.
You're gonna get us canceled.
I'm trying my best not to. But I think this is the best one they've done. 3.0 body. The paint's really nice. I mean, it doesn't have that shoulder piece. It's missing the little shoulder piece, as people have said a million times. But it's excellent. It's an excellent Veal's Toy Store figure.
He looks like that guy from what is it? Streets of Rage? Is it Hagen? With the little suspender that goes over like one side.
I couldn't tell you.
I
I
don't know.
haven't seen it.
It's okay. No, it's a
You don't like the
random
suspenders?
reference. Not really. No. I also don't like grease suspenders either. I don't think clone troopers need suspenders.
Yeah.
What are they holding up?
It's literally nothing. Like,
Are they
they're
holding
really-
up their pants?
it is connected to the belt piece, so maybe their belt's
I
a little
know.
big, so they gotta like.
You don't need a belt and suspenders, okay? It's double kill. It's either or.
You need the suspenders for the belt.
The suspenders are connected to the belt to keep the belt up. What's keeping the pants up?
The belt, and then what's keeping the strap up, though?
The
shoulder
suspenders.
pads? Is there like another one? Is there another one for the suspenders though? And my last fine editions, I got 2 Acolyte figures on the GameStop
Yay.
deal. I got the 2
GameStop had a
Super
good
Battle-
deal for sure.
Yeah, Super Battle Droids for for regular price, and then these were $14.99 after the deal. So I was like, for $14.99, these are the 2 of the 3 that I want. I plan on getting Soul after this, and then Chimere, and have those 3 fight Chimere.
Not
on
that
on
Chimere got
display.
announced or anything.
Nice.
'Cause he
all
didn't-
these
'cause he didn't.
exclusives. Nice.
All
All
these
these
exclusives. Yeah, Hasbro's like, you know what? We're not even gonna do the Stranger now. Everybody hated the show, so not doing it. But yeah, what a weird we'll talk about it soon. But
We'll talk
I
about
really
it,
thought
yeah.
we'd get a Stranger. I really thought we'd get a Stranger.
Me too.
Mm.
Me too.
Mike, fine edition
Yeah.
time for you.
So yeah, I'm gonna get the boring ones out of the way. I got both the Mandalorians, the Night Owl and the Privateer, the Walmart and Target one. I haven't opened any of these because I haven't had time to make a video. Got the R5D4 pack with the pit droids, and same thing as Sebastian there. I got them on sale. One that you guys didn't get because I'm the cool one.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I did get the Halloween
Ooh.
2-pack from Amazon, and this will probably be my next review that I do because it is the first thing that I got, and this is so dumb. I love this so much. It's dumb, and I love it. Okay, like a puppy trying to climb a stair, but it keeps falling over and tripping over its own ears. Like you're so dumb, but it's so cute. That's how I feel about this stupid 2-pack. It's awful, and that's what makes it great. Okay, it's like
It's
The
a really-
Room.
I think it's the best Halloween one they've done.
I agree.
And the other two are great.
Yeah,
and the other two are great, but that's the best.
No,
one.
I agree. And then the last Star Wars thing I got is this gigantic ass Last Command 4-pack. Like, what the hell? I knew it was big. You know, it's got 4 figures on it, so you know it's going to be big. But, like, you know, in the publication line, I really like these boxes. I love these boxes, and I have them lining my shelf. And you've got Heir to the Empire. You've got the Dark Force Rising, or whatever the second one's called. And you're like, okay, then they're going to do a Last Command. I'm going to have a really cool little 3 set of these books on my shelves because they look really, really cool. and Hasbro's like, now we're just going to make this one huge. Like, what?
Mike, can you hold up one of the Mandalorians next to it?
Sure.
'Cause I actually didn't do that originally when I got it in to see how big it was compared to
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's basically the size of 4 of those.
Hold
Hold
up the R5 Deluxe set and the
Okay.
droids with it. Jesus Christ. And that's a big set.
So it's like 2 of these.
Yep.
Yeah, that is
But
crazy.
yeah,
This is a big set.
I mean, I like it. There wasn't any way I wasn't gonna get it. Would I have preferred them just to give us like a Joe Roos and Luke 2-pack?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, I don't need this Mara, although I do like the alternate head. I definitely don't need this Luke, but I would 100% bought it specifically for the Joe Roos and the Luke, because he has like yeah, I'm happy to own those. Those are the figures you think they'll never do. You're never gonna see those in Black Series, and then they did it. But that's not the figures I picked up that I'm most excited about, to be honest.
Bro's not even a Star Wars fan anymore.
Not even a star. I want to start a different podcast now. So
Traitor.
I'm also starting a new podcast with some friends called Mornings with Mike, where we talk about figure lines from video games.
Ooh,
And
that's
we recorded our first episode 2 years ago, and then they just released it this last Wednesday. And you know, we're talking about recording our next episode, and I'm like, oh, we should do one on the Jaded Toys Street Fighter. I'll buy one so that I can in hand be like, yeah. Like, they're like this. They're pretty cool. So I bought one. I bought Ryu here. I bought Ryu, and then I was like, well, okay, but Ryu needs someone to fight on my shelf. So I bought M. Bison. So I got these two, and then I got these two, and I was like, okay, those are actually pretty good. So then I bought Chun-Li and Dalsim, and then I got those, and I was like, okay, those are pretty cool. I'm really liking these. So I've completed the first 2 waves, and this all happened in the span of less than a week.
Literally, you sent a message in the group chat like, hey, I picked up this Jaded Toys Street Fighter figure, and then literally the next day it was like, I just placed an order for the entire wave.
I got the rest of
Literally
them.
insane.
I just did an hour-long video on my thoughts of all 6. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't want to over-exaggerate, but for the money, they're probably the best bang for your buck, the best toys you can buy for $25. And I'm going to point out specifically, like, this is a wired cape from M. Bison, and it's a nice wired cape. Like, it can go like straight up if you want. Like, it's nice.
Yeah,
they all come. They all have incredible articulation, buttery smooth, pinless joints. They all come with 1 pair of alternate hands, 1 alternate head, and some kind of effect piece. So he came with like a little fiery fist thing. He's got alternate shoulder pads because the cape is attached to the shoulders. So if you don't want the cape, you can put... And it came with instructions on how to change it. Like, it came with instructions. So it's really good. And basically at Comic-Con, they've announced essentially the rest of the lineup. Minus, I think the only one they haven't announced is Akuma. But the rest of the Street Fighter 2 cast is on display. And I'm all in on this. I'm getting all of these. And if they branch out to different fighting games like Mortal Kombat or Darkstalkers or something. Like, I'm gonna get those too because they're just really, really good toys. I could not stop playing with Ryu. I just couldn't. Like, no matter what pose you put him in, he's cool. He looks good. So I'm in. And to answer Zooboy's question, did I see the PlayStation Shapes line by Spin Masters? I did, and that is also going to be. I'm going to have to pick up something from there. I saw Aloy. I saw. I think they did Kratos from the newer games. So I'm going to buy one of them, but I don't know if I'll buy all of them. But I said that about Street Fighter, so who knows? I have a problem. Anyway, I'm done.
Could you imagine, like, if we got that in Black Series, if Hasbro and Disney, or not, if Lucasfilm and Disney didn't charge, like, Hasbro's firstborn sons for their licensing fees, how amazing Black Series would be. I love Black Series, but compared to that, we just don't get as much.
I would pay $30 for these. And here's the other thing. I was just talking with Dan about this today. Friend of the show, Dan Larson. None of these figures have almost any reuse. Like, the only one that comes close is Ken and Ryu, but they don't even have, like, they're not even 100% reuse. But they, like I said, they've shown off every other figure in the line, and there's zero reuse across all, like, 12 or 13 figures that are in that. It's phenomenal for the price. I would honestly expect like $30 or $35 for what you're getting. And I think some of the bigger ones like Blanca and Sagat and E Honda might be more expensive, like $35. But it's nuts. The quality of these figures is just incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to see, and it's always good whenever you find a new toy line to get really excited about. So that's almost like the most fun as a toy collector when it's relatively new.
Rocket wants to know what scale my stormtroopers are on my Black Series podcast.
Maybe Rocket's a little new here.
On my Black Series podcast, I have Black Series figures behind me, and they are Black Series scale.
But this seems to be the perfect time to just let people know. If we might have a lot of first time listeners since this is the San Diego Comic-Con episode. So we are the Black Series Cantina audio podcast. The majority of our audience listens to us through Apple and Spotify and downloads and plays and all that. So if you're watching us live right now and you've never been here before and you want to return to listen to us, yeah, we appreciate your company. You can listen to us for free every other week. We record every other Thursday. Every other weekend, we release. We just talk about Black Series figures and what's been revealed, rumors, everything, our thoughts on whatever. Black Series Cantina on any podcasting app. Also, if you want to support us financially, we do have a Patreon page, patreon.com/Black Series Cantina. We have tiers as little as $2, $5 gets you access to the YouTube video. You can join us live at the tier above that. So, but as little as $2, anything you all are willing to give, we really appreciate any support. But
because we don't want to sell out, and we don't want to. We've had people approach us to do ads, like via email. We're not gonna.
And we're not getting more lately, and it's kind of annoying.
We have. It's really annoying. It's so annoying. Yeah, one person keeps doing it like every week. Like, we haven't heard from you guys. Like, yeah, take the hint.
I will, however, do ads on TikTok, so I'm not above that. I sell out on TikTok all the time.
Facts. Anyways, I'm sorry, Rocket Knight. I didn't mean to like come at you hard or anything like that. I was just teasing around. Yeah, there's 6-inch.
Yeah.
The better scale.
The
superior scale.
I won't say superior, but I will say big boy.
Before we jump into the actual news, we
got listener emails.
We have
listener emails.
So the segment is still alive, and somebody decided to troll us. They literally sent an email, and the subject line says Hayden Christensen L. It's from Sebastian Shaw. Sebastian Shaw Lover 69 at gmail.com.
Didn't we talk about this on the last episode?
I don't think we did. Did we? Well, if we did,
I don't think so. I'm
bringing it up again.
Talking about it. Yeah, I don't remember hearing it.
The email just says Sebastian for life. So this was either Paragon or Wilbon or this Sebastian or Collectibles Collectibles saying Sebastian for life. But
it totally wasn't me. My name's definitely not Sebastian.
But no, Hayden Superiority. So this email will be blocked. for sure. Um, we did get a legit email though from Commander Cook. Again, he said, if either of you have played these games, I'd be curious to know if Battlefront 2 2005 is your favorite special unit to use, Droideka Marine, and then in Battlefront 2 2017, who's your favorite hero to use, and favorite clone trooper legion. So I actually play every now and then. Me and Wilbon play with each other like every other week, every third week or so. We'll get a couple hours in on the co-op mode, which is a lot of fun. But for Battlefront 2, the classic one, 2005, my favorite is the Galactic Marine all day. I love the shoulder cannon, so hopefully whenever we do eventually go into Black Series, it has the big Gatling gun on the shoulder. Like, hopefully they can do a Revenge of the Sith version and a gaming grades that includes the and that includes the Gatling gun. And then for 2017 Battlefront, I really love doing the it's like the Kashyyyk Scout Trooper. I think it's like the 41st Legion or something, and it's the 212th Recon. It's like the red and orange yellow camo. I think it's ARF Trooper, ARF Trooper, the Recon Trooper. So those are my two go-tos.
This sounds like I used to imagine a unit of like dogs, like puppies. Like, the ARF squad is here. Is ARF, 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 ARF. Like, that's all. Yeah, the ARF squad's here.
Hey, we got the whole co-op gang right now. Zooboy, we play with Zooboy, Wilbon's in.
Yeah, I bought it. I'll play one day.
I don't believe it.
I spent $6 on it for the bit of never playing it. That's what I did.
It's so fun, and we literally just need one more for a consistent fourth squad.
Oh my god! I even pay for online service that I never use. Every year, wow. I pay for it. I haven't used it once.
Wow, Sebastian, do you play either of the Battlefront games? And what are your favorite skins if you do?
I haven't played Battlefront in a while. I really like 91st because they actually have the Neo helmet for.
Yep.
I don't remember if it's for the assault or for the specialist. I can't remember, so I usually go for that one. I personally loved doing the Ewok hunt. I don't know why. It just had like that.
That's fun.
That
yeah.
horror aspect to it, and I remember when they first dropped that, you couldn't get in because there were so many players flooding it. And I think when they first dropped it, it was only like an exclusive one, so they were only doing it. It was like a timed one where they would do it for a couple days and then it would go away. So if you wanted to play it, you had to jump in on it really quick. As far as heroes go, I don't.
Oh, I forgot heroes. Darth Vader for me. I love.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah, I love playing Darth Vader. He's just such a tank. He's a tank on that game.
If I can't be Wilro Hood, I don't want to play. I just want to run around with an ice cream maker in my hands. Machine. That's all I want.
Perfect.
Give me that game.
Right? Yeah.
Jedi Fallen Hood.
Jedi Fallen Hood. All right, next listener email is from Graydon Unfreed. Do you guys think Black Series will ever come out with a Kashyyyk Scout Trooper? It's such a good look for the Scout Trooper armor, especially with the helmet with bright green visor. We need one to go on the episode 3 shelf. I would die for an episode 3 Kashyyyk Scout Trooper with the the green camouflage Scout Trooper clone. That's like on my top 10 list. Like, it's one of my most wanted clones.
Would you want them to do a whole new Biker Scout sculpt for it, or just kind of modify the existing one?
I would prefer, if they're in 2024, if they're releasing a clone, I would prefer it be a new sculpt. But if that's the only way we're getting it, if it was that or nothing, just give me the just give me the old mold. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, I'd definitely buy one if they made it, but I don't know. I'd kind of prefer them to do a better Gree first, and then more. Because I hate the Gree we have. Like, I hate it. I don't like that it's on my shelf. And I'm not going to take it off because I need Gree on my shelf. But I'm also not going to replace him with the Gree that's coming out in that 2-pack, because that's not the right Gree I want. That's not the episode 3 Gree, So it's a weird situation to be in. It's
like
a very specific,
Gree, right?
Yeah, it's a very specific niche situation that I'm in.
Yep.
And Arthur's right. The camo would make it deluxe, hands down, for sure.
Deluxe for paint.
Maybe they'd have to release it without body parts to make it like this one is cool, but it doesn't come with hands. It comes with no hands. Instead of
No
alternate hands, he has
shoot.
no hands. Yeah.
Just the head from when Yoda
Just the
chopped it off.
head. Just the head.
From when Yoda slices him.
This is the Commander Gree post episode 3.
Hey, as long as it's got the
Alright.
head underneath the helmet, that's fine.
True.
Yeah. All right, so we do have first-time emailer, I believe, Andrew Raywood. So we appreciate the email. We actually kind of have a little bit of an activity, so we'll try to speed through it. We have a lot to do. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Andrew. I love the show. You guys do a great job. Mike and I have chatted briefly through the years on IG.
True.
His handle is Rippic10. Found his found his reviews during COVID. Got him back into collecting. I'm picky, but not completionist. Congrats on all who backed Cantina. That looks sick. Didn't back to myself, but not because I wouldn't want to, but because hopefully Black Series will get another shot. Second, probably over a year ago, just for fun, I was making a top 10 most wanted figures in the line list, just on paper, not a video. Mike, I told you to send it to you, and he forgot to send it to you, so now I guess we're getting that sent to us now.
Yeah.
He said, I think this would all be totally new characters in line. What are you guys buying first, last, or not at all from this list? So I'll read it off, and then you all can give me your opinions. Well, I guess... all right, which figure out of these 10 are you buying first? We'll do it that way.
I would have to. Okay, so I'm just gonna list the 10 first, so the people listening.
Yeah. Kyle Katarn.
Yeah.
Cham Syndulla with a blurg, or
Mainline without.
or mainline without a blurg.
Yeah.
And then Dexter Jetster, Garzef Whip, Clone Deserter Cut LeQuain, a Sail Barge Weequay, a Warhead Droid from Rebels, the McCory concept, Watto, Keller and Beck, and any Kaminoan.
I mean, I'd buy them all. I'm just gonna say there's none on that list I wouldn't buy if Hasbro was like. Because here's the thing. I love I want every Star Wars. I want all Star Wars. There's no Star Wars I don't want.
Yeah.
If it's Star Wars, I want to buy it. At least one of it.
The first thing I'm buying on that list,
Kyle Katarn for me.
Yep.
Hands
Yeah,
down. Wouldn't even
Same.
like if I had to pick one of all those, and that was like Kyle Katarn.
He's been
This
my
is
number
tough,
one for
like-
years. Easily. Every top 10 list I make, he's up at the top. And since this line started and when they started getting into gaming grades and everything, if they made a Kyle Katarn, I would never ask for another Black Series figure to be made ever again.
That was it.
Because-
That's just the
No,
one.
no,
Yeah.
seriously, everything else would just be a bonus because
You
I
get a
mean,
genie wish, and you wish for Kyle
yeah,
Katarn, and then you
that's
quit the
exactly-
line.
It would be. It would be. I mean, he's easily my top favorite. Those 4 games that came out in the 90s, I grew up playing every single one of them. So just to be able to have him in 6-inch scale, I mean, I said if it ever came down to it and they made him, and then like I needed to get rid of my collection for whatever reason, he would be the one I would absolutely. He would be the one I would hang on to.
Where does
I'm
Dash
actually-
Rendar sit on that list? I'm just curious, real quick.
Number 2.
Number 2?
Number 2. Yep.
High
Number 2.
five!
Yep. Number 2.
So
Yep.
I'm gonna come in and do the complete opposite of you all. My first,
Any Kaminoan? You just want any Kaminoan that bad? Jeez.
no, my first would probably be honestly a sail bar, like the Weequay. I just feel like a sail bar.
So weird.
Like out of those characters, because they're not all like super main characters or anything, but a Weequay would be so good. Mike, look at your Jabba's palace.
I
pretty
see
print,
it.
And
I
picture
see
a
it.
Weequay on
Yeah.
there, right?
Sure, but I'd much rather picture a Garza Whip or a Watto or a Keller and Beck.
Watto would be cool. I mean, Keller and Beck would be cool, but a Weequay, it's just like it's like
That's
the odds of
actually-
us getting a Weequay Black
actually pretty
Series
funny.
are.
That's actually pretty funny.
And honestly, the last thing I would buy would be Kyle Katarn because I never played the games. I don't relate with that character, or not relate with it, but I don't.
It
necessarily
is
care
something
about
you
that
had to like,
character
yeah,
at
sure.
all.
I get
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
You know,
it's something
all
you
these
really
other-
had to be the right age for, like the right time for.
Yeah, all these other ones are canon, so it at least fits my shelf. Like Kaioken wouldn't fit.
Okay, hold on. You don't have to
my
hurt me
shelf.
like that. You don't have to. You don't have to hurt me like that.
I'm throwing
Zach. You can-
daggers, man.
Why? What did I do to you?
But honestly, like Kaioken, I never played the games. He looks like a cool character, but
He is a cool character.
He's such a
Listen,
cool
you know
character.
what though? You know what though? Like because they just re-released the first Dark Forces game,
Yeah.
and someone put it into perspective. And like, if they made a movie about this guy where like he starts the movie by stealing the Death Star plans, then like fist fighting, bare knuckle fist fighting a dragon, and then beating Boba Fett. Like, people will be calling him a Mary Sue, Gary Sue, whatever. Like, he's just the guy that's kind of done everything. There's no reason for how good he is at everything he does, other than he's just like the main character of the video game, and that's how video games work. But, like, why?
Yeah, but
Why
you know
is
what?
he so good?
The story for Dark Forces 2 with the Dark Jedi
It's good.
and everything.
Yeah, it's
that
good,
one, I think,
for sure.
out of all 4 games that he's
Yeah.
in, that
Yeah.
easily has to be the best one. It's the only one that's not available for
Yeah.
PS5 now too, and it frustrates me.
Yeah.
But just and the cutscenes, like bringing in real actors for the cutscenes, made it that much more of like a Star Wars feel for me.
That was
Is,
definitely something they were doing at that time. And I'm glad that that's a thing that didn't go anywhere, because it was always kind of weird, too.
so this is a weird question, but so it's going to show you all. I don't really know about the '90s video game characters that much.
Sure.
The video game they just remastered, and you can play it on Switch or whatever.
Mhm.
Is that Kaioken or Dash Rendar?
That's Kyle Katarn. That's Dark
Kaioken.
Forces.
Okay, so that character, that guy, I think.
Yeah, Dash Rendar is Shadows of the Empire. He was 90s extreme Han Solo because it took place when Han Solo was frozen in carbonite. So there wasn't a Han Solo, but they needed a Han Solo in the story.
Type character. Okay. that
So
makes
they
sense.
created Dash Rendar.
This is a
makes
hot
sense.
take, but he's cooler than Han Solo. he was much
See,
cooler than
here's the
Han
thing.
Solo.
There
That's
would
a
never
hot
be a
take.
question. There would never be a question on who shot first. Okay.
Yeah, no.
He has a cool robot partner. He's got the Millennium Falcon light, and the toy of it kind of turned into a B-wing, which is rad.
And if Han wouldn't have made it, I mean, he would have been next in line for Leia easily.
Yeah.
I mean, he was her next pick easily.
I had
Pletho
this
wants to know.
question also.
Yeah,
I don't
he wants to know what
it is
era
either.
Dark. So the first Dark Forces game takes place like right before, because you steal the Death Star plans.
Yeah, that
but
was
then
before the Rogue One
Spoilers.
story existed.
correct. That was before Rogue One was a thing. But then it kind of jumps because like you're also fighting like Dark Troopers. The Empire's still a thing. But then in the second Dark Forces 2, that takes place. I don't know exactly when that would take place. Sometime after Return of the Jedi, maybe.
There's literally
'Cause-
no Skywalker saga characters in that second.
There aren't
Like
any,
in
so
the-
it's hard. It's hard to take. But like he becomes a Jedi kind of, and he starts fighting like evil, like Jedi, for some reason. So
But then the
it's
next
hard. I don't.
two- The next 2, Luke is in it, and it's post Return
Yeah.
of the Jedi because he's
Yeah.
starting up the new academy.
Because he's starting the academy, right? Well, and then it leads into Jedi Academy,
Mhm.
which is like it's like Dark Forces 3 kind of. Yeah, so it takes place all through the OT base because that's all we had. We didn't have the prequel trilogy then. Like that wasn't a thing, and you could only go so far past the sequel. There was like a cutoff when they were writing books back in the 90s. The light is like hitting my face. Where
There you
they
go.
wouldn't let you go so far before the original trilogy, and they wouldn't let you go so far after when they were writing and creating stories for it. So everything took place within like this 10 or 20 year gap because they just wouldn't let anyone touch those time periods.
Yeah, and I know we're jumping into the pipelines, but like what Master Comstar said, if we're getting Prince Shizor and it's literally labeled as Shadows of the Empire,
Yeah.
why would we get the main villain who literally I don't think you don't even see him, you don't fight him at all in that game. He's just
No.
hiding out in his base by the end. So if we're getting
Yeah.
an action figure of that guy, the main hero has to be like same way,
Right around the
same
corner.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's no way they would release him without Dash Rendar. No
We'll
way.
talk about that later. I want to save that
We'll
stuff. I want to
talk
save
about
that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll save it. So for the meantime, If you would like to keep the listener email segment alive, shoot us an email, blackseriescantina@gmail.com. If you're listening to this podcast and you want to promote something, do not email us. If you're listening to the podcast and you want to get a question off or a comment,
you know what though? Hold on, I'll change
Series.
that. I'll change that. If you're someone cool like the cubic
Toy
3D
Snowman.
prints, Toy Snowman, if you do something in the field, like you make 3D prints or custom capes or whatever, and you want to have us promote you, I'm okay with that. I'm just saying, but like
that's fine.
smaller
But if you're-
people,
yeah, local, smaller, small toy collector or creators and all that.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's totally acceptable. But those people that keep emailing us about, promote this hair dryer on your podcast. No, get out of here, dude. Do not email us. But email us your thoughts about all these SDCC reveals, and we'll talk about them on the show the next pod. 'Cause I'm sure next pod we're going to need listeners to come in clutch, because I'm sure we're going to need a lot to talk about, because we're probably not going to have a whole lot after all these reveals for next episode. So shoot us a bunch of emails so it gives us something to talk about. blackseriescantina@gmail.com. This segment is brought to you by Monday Night Figure Ball. Go subscribe on YouTube.
Always brought by Monday Night Figure Ball. One day I'll be on it.
We don't do ads or promotions, but Monday Night Figure Ball. Go sub.
One day I'll be on Monday Night Figure Ball.
One day.
One day.
Zooboy, we do not want you emailing us, because I can't read paragraphs it'll just be like a scroll.
I can read it. I can read paragraphs, but I have to sit on the toilet for it, so it'll be weird to be on the podcast reading it. I'm just saying.
We don't have time for a Zooboy email. Like, we're trying to get this. We have to do. We have a time for it. All right, so let's jump into some news. We actually have a shit ton to talk about, and this is the exciting stuff. So I'm going to share my screen, because we're going to do an overall segment on the leaks. There have been a lot of leaks in the Black Series lately, and this, I feel like, is the biggest one. This is the biggest one. It almost looks like a custom, but it is Savage Press coming to the Black Series, and Prince Caesar was leaked before he was pipelined, which we'll talk about more later. But first off, Savage Press is coming to the Black Series. Like, that's a big W. That's amazing. One of my he's on my top 10 list for the last couple years.
Yeah.
So big W, but I don't really I'm not the biggest fan of these leaks. They make great TikTok content. Like, it's fabulous, and I love it for that reason, because it's so reaction driven and it drives in the algorithm. But like, days like today, a lot of the stuff we saw were already leaked, and I feel like today would have been even more exciting had stuff not been leaked. So first off, what do you all think just about Savage Press confirmed coming into the Black Series? And then we'll get into the overall leaks.
Well, Corellian Collectibles on that Instagram post says "No way," followed by like 8 exclamation points. So
and I do not use exclamation points lightly. I hate them. I absolutely hate them, being a teacher and whatnot. So when I use them in excess, I mean it. I mean,
he means
like
it.
That.
He means it.
Like, he is. He's number 4 on my top 10 list. So I mean, my top 10 is slowly getting banged out very, very.
We're
within
eating
the next
good as Black Series collectors.
year. Yeah, I mean that, and he's a popular enough character. Everybody thought he was cool. Not everybody. Most of the viewers thought he was cool in the Clone Wars. He was featured enough. He's not one of those like one episode off characters and then that's it. I mean, I'm thrilled, and I know people I saw were commenting saying, "Oh, he looks short. He looks short." Like, first of all, he doesn't have a head, and secondly, I don't know what they're basing the shortness off of. I mean, it looks pretty.
He's a
big
good
me, so.
inch to an inch and a half taller than Shizor there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, they're shoulder to shoulder, and you can see where his feet stop.
But I'm thrilled. I'm curious. Yeah. I know Yak said it's going to be a deluxe, which is understandable, I guess, with the part choices. I don't see like where they could have reused existing parts or anything, but I'm curious what he might come with.
His double lightsaber, and that's it. I think that's
no. He had
a
big axe or something when he first showed up. Like, that was his weapon.
somebody said like a metal arm, like a swappable metal arm, but I'm not getting my hopes.
I mean, that would be cool because he did get his arm cut off. I would like that. But he definitely should have his double lightsaber and then also that axe as well.
And then they could reuse
like
that
mace.
axe for the next Halloween figure.
Sure, why not?
That'd be cool. But yeah, amazing that Savage is coming. But so let's kind of talk about the leaks. A lot of stuff has been leaked lately, and I don't know. And we had that Garoba_A Instagram account that we didn't cover on this podcast because I forgot to put it in our show notes last time. But this one these ones have just been some random Chinese website, and some other stuff has been leaked on there, like the new Luke body, which is confirmed, no soft goods, which is really nice. Sculpted plastic was everybody's one, but
yeah, we saw like IG-12 on there. We saw the armored
Imperial
Commando.
Yeah,
and in the past, we've seen OSHA. We've seen we've known all these figures were coming, and part of me is like cool, but I feel like it takes away from the magic. I feel like it takes away from days like today, where instead of seeing like Prince Shizor on the pipeline and being like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's like, yeah, I saw him a couple days ago, so it's fine."
And I fully believe they pipelined him today because of those leaks. Like,
probably
I might be going out on a limb there, but like something like that.
It is weird they didn't do Savage though, if that was why. But maybe they had to, if they could only do 8, But it is unfortunate. I do genuinely feel bad for the Hasbro team because they work really hard to get us figures.
It's stealing
we like
their thunder. They work hard.
And,
yeah.
Like you can tell, like they have passion about announcing them. And what was that, Sebastian?
Well, I like the progression that they've been doing, where they'll give a pipeline, and then a couple months later, here's the official reveal. And now with the way they've been pumping them out, it's a couple months after the reveal and the pre-order, we have them in.
Yep.
It's cool because it's like Mike said, you get that initial oh my God moment when you see a picture of a character that you're really looking forward to, and then okay, maybe in like 2 more live streams I'm gonna get to see it. I wonder how it's gonna look, how they're gonna tackle this one, and then you have it. Like, it's exactly that. I saw the leak and I'm like, yeah, that's Prince Shizor, but then the pipeline came in today and I'm like, well, okay, I already knew about him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not you didn't just know about him. You mostly know what he looks like. You don't. Him. Yeah. You've seen him. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like I don't mind the leaks a lot, but it does take away from big events like this. Like I wish this stuff wasn't spoiled. Like the little live streams they do, like sure, whatever. But I do kind of wish we just wouldn't get stuff leaked in general. Like it's great for content, but at the same time. I do feel bad for the Hasbro team because they do, you can tell they're passionate about, giving it, like especially Eric, Like
and it's you're not even seeing like a good release of it. Like this stuff was never intended to be seen. It's factory rejects, half finished, no heads. Like if I want to see it, I want to see it. I want to see
that's a good point.
The finished product of what I'm going to get. Like it just feels gross, honestly. Kind of just seeing these like weird rejects on a factory floor somewhere that someone's taking pictures of.
Like, could you imagine if 2 months ago we saw the STAP just laying on a table, Like
Pletho, I understood
the reveal.
I understood that Patrick Stewart reference. It's too late. I've seen everything.
But yeah, like if we saw the STAP a month ago, just laying on the desk, it would have took the fire out of when they randomly dropped it yesterday, which we'll talk about a little more later. In our chat, like we went nuts. Like I didn't think they were going to do a STAP. That's crazy. Like, but we were seeing it. We weren't seeing like some half-finished, unpainted version hanging out. Like we were seeing it. We had a full article.
Yeah.
I opened Twitter, and I was just scrolling on my following page, and it literally said like 20 minutes ago from IGN, and it was just a picture of what looked like a Black Series figure on a STAP, and I was like, hold on. So I clicked it, I saved that picture real quick, I sent it to you all, and then I looked on Instagram, Yakface hadn't even posted it yet, and I was like, does nobody know there's a Black Series STAP right now? And then Yak finally posted it, and then I was talking to you all about it in the chat, and like that's a great moment. And whenever it's leaked, it's still cool to see it's coming, but you don't
Sure.
get the shock.
It's not
and
as
awe
cool.
about it,
Yeah, it's not as cool.
It's not as cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's always questions you don't know the answer to, and there's questions that people always ask, like, when is this coming out? How much is it going to be? Where can I pre-order it? And when it's always happens in Facebook groups and stuff, someone will post a leaked picture and someone's going to ask, oh my God, when's this coming out? Where can I pre-order it? And like, how would we know that? We're seeing a picture of it on some Chinese factory floor. Why would you think we know the answer to that question? Like, why would you ask that question?
Yeah.
And even
It's weird.
Like Yak's leaks aren't pictures of the figure.
Right.
They'll just
Like-
say, hey, there's a new Darth Maul coming. Okay.
Right.
What's it going to look like? You know, we're not.
Yeah, we don't know anything about
seeing
it.
ahead
Yeah.
of time, you know. So there's
I
still
still
that, like, surprise
don't love his leaks though, because he usually does it like the night before a big reveal, because he gets all that information or whatever.
I
He
was
stopped
waiting
doing
for
that,
you
though,
to
fortunately.
do it.
He did stop
Yeah.
doing that. You know, you're
Like,
right. He
literally,
did.
the day before, he would post the entire reveal.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
ruins the
all
reveal.
pictures.
Yeah.
But now he'll only do like one a couple days before, maybe two. But it does ruin it. Like whenever, Yak posted about Commander Bakara, and go off, King. But whenever they pipelined him today, it's like, oh, I already knew that. And didn't we see him on the leak too?
I don't
Or
think we
what-
did. Did we?
I think.
But
it
I
was
also like when Yak leaks something, I also kind of take it with a grain of salt, because he might be working from old information. Like his track record isn't 100%, you know? So like when he leaks something, I'm like, okay, that's a pretty good indication we're going to get it. But I can list like at least 5 things off the top of my head that he has leaked that we never got.
Yep.
So, like there's still that level of doubt there where it's like, cool, I hope this is real. I hope this is true. Whereas the factory leaks, like they've never been wrong. And again, you're seeing figures with like 1.5 legs and no heads and unpainted or whatever.
Yeah,
Basil's
and I feel like
face.
just Basil's head.
Yeah.
Basil's head, yeah.
I feel like inevitably one day we're gonna see a leak that's just a factory reject, but it's not a figure they plan on actually putting into production. So wouldn't that suck? Like we see this Savage Press leak, and then we still don't get an announcement for like 2 years.
Don't
Right?
even say it. Don't even say it. It's gonna. Be
I'm sorry.
Monday all over again. Don't even.
I'm sorry I
don't
put
even-
it out there.
I mean, in fact,
but
it could
it's gonna
be
happen
delayed.
eventually,
It could be
I
pushed
feel
back.
like.
It could be canceled.
Ugh.
Like, we don't know how far they've gotten figures through production before they've canceled them before. Like, we don't have any information.
Hasbro's listening right now. They're gonna call the factory and they're gonna be like, you know what?
Cancel
That
it.
Black Series
Cancel
Cantina,
it.
Hold Savage for another 2 years. 'Cause they said that.
Oh gosh. All right, so let's talk about some cooler stuff rather than some leaks. Hot Toys released or announced one of the coolest Darth Vader figures I've ever seen.
Hot Toys Cantina, right here. We're changing over.
But I just spent $330 something
I know.
on the Darth Vader,
Listen,
the coolest Darth
I know.
Vader I'd ever seen before
I know.
the other day.
I
And
know.
now it's like I can't have 2 battle damage Darth Vaders.
Well, so to be fair,
Can I? I'd probably
you can
go
have
to,
you can have
but-
a battle damaged Darth Vader and then a completely unbattle damaged Darth Vader, because one of them can be both.
That is true. The Kenobi one with the damaged head did include a normal Vader,
That's
part,
how I have
so
mine
he
set
can
up. Mine's just in his regular Darth Vader outfit, like no battle damage.
No, Zooboy, what's the retail for that Hot Toys Darth Vader?
It's pretty expensive.
$430.
Yeah.
No, is it that much? Wow.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be
Ooh.
500. But like, look at it. It looks like it should be.
Yeah.
Because
Honestly-
usually, most of these figures are like a generic body with some kind of like suit over it, with then clothes on top of that. But this is 100% sculpting all up and down, and like an insane amount of sculpting all up and down.
We did just get a deluxe VIP Patreon spot opened up, so somebody's gonna need to take that so I can afford this $500 Darth Vader Hot Toys. So somebody go sign up right now.
I actually got into Hot Toys really early on when they first started doing like the Star Wars ones. I remember I had the Han and Chewie deluxe set. I had like Old Ben, A New Hope Vader when that one first came out, and I don't know. I was just looking at them, and when Black Series, that's like when Black Series was still part of its infancy. I'm like, I don't know if I can get into these, especially not as like a full collection. I see collections out there where people have a wall of Iron Man. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't fall down that hole.
Yeah. Well, just think about it this way, Zach. It's not almost $500. It's only like $100-something for like 3 months.
That's true. That's honestly
I mean, you're
true.
gonna do the beforehand, down payment or whatever. Then they break the rest up over like I think 3 or 4, maybe even 5 months. I remember when I got the speeder bike. That one was like $400-something for a biker scout and the speeder bike. And I don't remember the payments being that ridiculous for it, to be honest.
All right, I'm going to share this right now.
Hold on.
But
Make me big real quick. I don't know why I couldn't make myself big.
there you go.
Dan, you like this shirt? This shirt right here, our RIP Rancor shirt. Guess what? You can buy it on our merch store. It's our merch. We made this shirt. Just saying. Okay, go back to what you're doing.
Of all the shirts you could have worn today.
Oh, I wore this specifically, and I might, because I wore it for this live stream, and I'm going down to San Diego tomorrow. I might wear it down to San Diego tomorrow as well.
You can do 7 payments of $55.
There you go. That's not bad. And it doesn't even start till March 5th. Like, you have months until they even start charging.
That is true. Or I could do like 5 months, 77, get it out of the way.
That's not bad.
But man, this thing is so pretty.
That's one of my favorite things about Sideshow's website is that they break it all down in payments. And then you're not, it's like not on your credit or anything. You're just paying it off. Like, it's like layaway. It's brilliant.
I wish they did this for HasLab. So
they should 100%. There's a year. There's a year in between when something comes out or when it funds and then when it comes out, that you could be making payments in that year. Like, anyone could afford these if they could do that.
Yeah, this is, if I do get this, which I'm leaning, I'm in the middle. I'm really right down the fence. I'm leaning yes.
Does it look enough like Hayden?
I decide. To me, it does. Yeah, I think it does. Yeah. I mean, if I think of Hayden, Darth Vader, all burnt up, like, this is pretty good.
It looks more like he just spent a lot of time in the water and he's all wrinkly.
He got the raisin.
He's got the raisin look.
But this would be how I display it. It'd be like
for sure,
Unleashed.
Yeah,
like with that helmet right there.
How's he breathing right now?
I don't know, man. He's not.
He's not
superior. He's superior.
Anakin doesn't breathe.
He doesn't need our futile air, human air. I was trying to find our listing for the Rancor shirt to put it in the chat real quick, but let me find it. I can share the link.
I'll fill airtime by moving on to the next thing. SH Figure Arts announced an Ahsoka, but what was more important on that Ahsoka announcement, it looked like they were teasing an SH Figure Arts Anakin Skywalker, which a certain Zach I know really wants.
That would be fabulous, but I am like a little. I'm a little skeptical that it's a new one because I looked at the version I have.
Yeah,
and it looks the exact same from the the waist down that we see. So like the body on it's fine. So if they did that one, but just added a new head sculpt on it, I'd buy a replacement for it. Like I would get it.
Yeah.
So
Mr. Coffee says it's not a new Anakin either. Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they did release it with a new head, like for the Ahsoka show or whatever.
It would make sense.
It would make sense.
And whenever you see a figure go for crazy prices on the aftermarket, it doesn't make sense for that company to not release more of those because they don't make any money from aftermarket prices.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I'd probably be in, but if they announced it and then before it shipped Hasbro revealed a Black Series Anakin, I'd probably just cancel it and get the the Black Series Anakin if it lives up to my
You saying
very high expectations.
You saying Black Series is better than SH Figure Arts?
Well, that's what I collect, you know.
It's
Black
cheaper.
Series collect.
It's certainly cheaper.
It's cheaper.
Do you have any SH Figure Arts, Sebastian?
That was another one I got into. I actually had a bunch of the DBZ ones a couple of years ago when they released them, and I know that's like right up Zach's alley. Yeah, and those ones, it was the same thing. It was kind of like I just needed to prioritize what I was collecting because I was just dipping my hands into different ones, seeing which ones I liked more, and ultimately it was just I gotta stick with Black Series. It was
Sure.
an affordable option, 6-inch figures.
Yeah.
Superior scale figures, you know.
Superior scale.
Do you have any? Do you have any TVC or 3 3/4 figures?
I have a huge bin of 3 3/4 inch because I had all of the Power of the Force ones, the orange card and the green card. I collected them when they had episode 1, 2, and 3 out, but they all belong to my son now because they're smaller figures for smaller humans.
King.
So
That makes sense. That's what they're intended
he's
for.
playing with
Yeah.
them, so you know. But no, I still have them all. I mean, I like to go back and look. I mean, I remember like with Revenge of the Sith going to that Midnight Madness or whatever they called it, right? Like when they released all of the episode 3 merchandise at Walmart.
I remember that.
They literally had enough for like collectors were
Yeah.
going into the aisle and they were like, "Hey, I'm looking for
Yep.
an Anakin," and
Yep.
oh, okay, here I saw one on this peg. Here you go. Nobody was scalping them. They weren't
Nope.
filling up their carts for resale. It was a good time.
I went to the Midnight Madness at Toys R Us, and they had like 3 of those blue kiddie pools, the plastic ones, just filled with cards. And then the same
Yep.
thing. People are like, "I'm looking for the pregnant Padme." I'm like, "Oh, here's one." Like tossing them over and stuff, and like, those were fun times. There was enough to
They
go
were.
around for everyone, and
Yeah.
everyone was just kind of happy.
Yep.
Even though people didn't really like the prequels, we still like Star Wars. Is that
Yep.
like, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are good times. Anyway, so speaking of import series figures, Mafex just announced some new Star Wars figures as well for the people that collect the pricey import 6-inch figures. I'm not one of those people, but I know that those people exist.
So they announced the Bosk, and there was a Stormtrooper
Yeah.
prototype in the background, and I don't know if there were any others, but my Bosk from GameStop shipped the other day, so I'll be getting it
The
tomorrow,
reissue?
the reissue archive
Yeah.
one. But like that Bosk is terrible, and I paid $33 for it because I had to pay shipping on it.
Mm-hmm.
That Bosk is so bad. I really wish I could have, if that was revealed before it shipped, I wish I could have canceled it because I would probably gladly pay whatever the Mafex price is for that Bosk because the articulation looks pretty solid. And comparative to what we're getting, in Black Series, just the reissue. But I guess I'll just be happy with my old 2014, Bosk or whatever. So I'm probably out now since mine already shipped, but who knows? Maybe I'll pick it up.
It's GameStop, right? You said GameStop?
They already
You can return
shipped
it. You can return it.
I guess I could return it, but
You can return it to GameStop.
But at that point, I'll just put the gun in his hand, and he'll be standing in my Jabba's palace.
That's what mine's
so-
doing. Mine, I've
Yeah.
got the whole bounty hunter group hanging out on a shelf, and that's like most of them are terrible figures. The original Boba Fett, terrible. Bosk, terrible. IG-88, literally probably the worst figure in the Black Series line. Half of them are just god awful figures, but they do the job of standing there looking like bounty hunters from Empire Strikes Back, and right now that's all I
Yeah.
need them to be.
I did just for Prime Day. I just loaded up on Filament because it was $15 for the Space Gray, so I got a
Smart.
2-pack for $33 or something. So I might print Lane Speeder Luke's file of the Star Destroyer bridge and put all the bounty
Mhm.
hunters up there with the Vader. So I might do that, but for now, Bosk is probably just going to stand in the he's going to fill up the Jabba's palace like how you have yours.
Yeah.
But yeah, enough Mafex chat on the Black Series Cantina. Black Series news: Walmart Shriek-Hawk 2-pack is up for pre-order. Sebastian, is this one you're picking up?
Yep. Yeah, I got it. It's more rando mandos, and the
Yep.
Shriek-Hawks to me pop a little bit more than the Night Owls anyway.
I agree.
And
I agree.
I agree.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna kind of have them like facing off a little bit, because right now we technically got like 3 Mandalorian factions in season 3. We had the Shriek-Hawks, who were along with Mando, and then like Bo broke off on her own, and
Yep.
that's when Axe Woves took over. So it's just gonna look cool on display, just having these different factions represented rather than just all blue or all. I picked it. I'm happy. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, they're a lot more hodgepodge, which I like. Whereas
Yeah.
the Axe Woves set, they look more kind of uniform a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Shriek-Hawks are like tattered with like strips of like cloth everywhere and whatnot. I dig it. I happened to wake up at 5 a.m. when they first went up, and then I pre-ordered it, and then they took them down for like an hour, and then they put them back up at the right time.
So
they were
weird.
supposed to be up. Yeah.
I've kind of turned the corner on the blue Mandos. I used to be really annoyed. We kept getting blue Mando after blue Mando after blue Mando. But now I conveniently have this shelf specifically dedicated to that specific Mandalorian group. I got the Glavis Ringgold Mando, and then the Armorer and Bo-Katan, and then
Nice.
behind them is all the blue Mandos. So now that I have a shelf for blue Mandos, I'm trying to build the army now. Give me all the blue man. Give me all the
Hey, you want to go all in? All in.
I don't want a Mandalorian that's not blue at this point. No, I'm joking. I would love like the Judge, and I think that's the one TVC got like with some orange and other colors
Yeah.
thrown in. But the blue doesn't bother me as bad because now, since they're a faction on my shelf, they look like they're part of the same team.
Yeah.
So I've turned the corner. I used to be annoyed, but now just with my shelf display the way it is.
They're blue, dabba dee dabba da, dabba dee dabba da.
That's not the relevant
Officially-
version of that song anymore, though. So
It's true. It's true.
Did they update it?
if you want to call it that, I don't know if you did it.
They repacked
Sure.
it. They repacked.
Yeah. They
repacked it?
refreshed it. They refreshed it.
It's a Spotify
We'll call it
exclusive
that.
or something.
Yeah.
So, this last
Before-
thing on news. Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to talk about this because this fascinated me today. It's Comic-Con, so there's a lot of panels going on. In fact, right now there's a Transformers panel going on, and it's actually killing me that I'm not watching it, so I don't know what's being announced, but I'm doing this instead because I love you guys.
We can
But,
live
nah.
stream in on it.
Just stop the podcast, live stream Transformers. But there was a Marvel Legends stream earlier, and they announced in it that they were not going to be doing a HasLab in 2024. By the way, the G.I. Joe's doing a HasLab, the Rattler. It's $329 for a giant airplane and 3 figures. Do you know what the first tier is? This is hilarious. Do you know what the first tier is?
What is it?
It's patches, like coat patches, like iron-on patches. 3 of them. 3 patches.
It's just patches.
It's
and
just
that's
patches. That's it. That's
That's
tier 1.
That's an acceptable tier.
Yeah, tier 2 is a gunner for it, and tier 3 is the Baroness in her little pilot outfit. But like, the first
Suddenly
tier
the
is.
bones,
I know, right?
So bad.
That cardboard backdrop with bones is looking pretty good right now. Is all I'm saying. But that being said, in less than 24 hours, the Rattler funded. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. That is
yeah,
insane.
but yeah, it's insane. So I back that. But anyway, that's my point is the Marvel Legends team said that there wasn't enough room in the schedule or whatever for them to do a HasLab, but they are doing a made to order figure where when they put it up, they'll have a specific time that anyone can pre-order it, and they're made to order, and that's it. So it's basically like a HasLab, but without like the rules and stipulations and stuff like that. And it's Dragon Man, and he's like 10.5 inches tall with like a 17-inch wingspan, and he's got like alternate wings and a bunch of accessories and stuff like that. They haven't given a price of how much he'll be, but like that's the kind of thing that I want to see in the Black Series. Like, do the Rancor again. Do it like this.
100%.
Like, no tiers. Rancor, maybe Malakili, but you don't even have to do release him separately. Yeah. But like, do something like this where it's not a HasLab crowdfunding thing. It's just a made-to-order kind of dealio.
I would be so down for that in Black Series.
Well, my yardstick for something like that is they did it with the TVC. Well, they called it Boba Fett's Palace, but it was the Jabba's Palace.
Yes, same. It's the same thing. Yeah.
But it was like $230. If people are buying a made-to-order $230 item, I could think of 30 items right off the top of my head that would cost less than that they could easily do in 6-inch for a made-to-order item. Easily. Between creatures, small vehicles, figure packs, whatever. And if they're willing to shell out $230 for you know, a Jabba's Palace, which, let's be honest, most of it was the accessories that came with it.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they could easily do the Geonosis arena creatures, or like you said, do it with the Rancor again. Just do the made-to-order stuff or stuff like that.
ATRT would be perfect.
There's so many things they could do like this where it's not giant HasLab level stuff, but it's bigger than normal, I guess.
Yeah, like we haven't gotten anything like the Tauntaun or, you know, the Wampa in so long. Like if that's the only option, pod racers would be
pod racers.
Yep.
Made to order, so it protects
made to order. Yep.
Like, so they don't lose money. Like it's the best way to do it. Like for Black Series, like screw HasLab for Black Series. Let's do made to order. Like that's fine. Let TVC do the HasLabs. We'll do the made to order stuff. It protects Hasbro from, you know, having the embarrassing, we can't ever do a Black Series HasLab. We can't get one to fund. Everybody's so picky in the community anyways.
Yep.
Specifically with Mike's T-shirt, that Rancor.
Well, what bothered me about the Rancor is anytime something is, whenever I see a prototype of something, I'm like, that can actually exist. And we can't have it now. So if right off the bat, if they would have just said, Black Series 6-inch, there's no way we could do HasLabs. Okay, that's fine. So in my head, I'm not concocting all of these different things that you could possibly release. But the fact that we saw the Rancor in 6-inch scale, it barely funded, in my mind, I'm like, we could have had that. And now it's just a prototype sitting in someone's office somewhere. And that I think is what is more frustrating than anything. If it was just no, you're never getting a Rancor in 6-inch scale. It's not possible. Okay, fine. I'll cry for a day and then I'll move on from it. But
yeah,
well, it feels like they took something away from us. Like they dangled it there and it was so close and they're like, nah. And that's it. It's gone forever.
Yeah, it literally, the Rancor, just the fact that the Rancor got so close that last day, it just puts salt on the wound. You know, if it like was 4,000 away,
like the Engine of Vengeance or the lightsaber, like none of those even got close. Cookie Monster, not even close to being funded. But the Rancor was less than 500 away.
And that's just a fraction of the collecting community for Star Wars. And it missed it by less than 500. It's insane.
And like seriously, throw in the extra 500, put them on Pulse after they ship, and say, "Here you go, guys. You missed out on it. You got to pay an extra $50 or something like that, and you can still have it."
People would do it.
Yeah, people would do it, or put it in that vault that they did whatever last year.
Yeah, and then release. Exactly.
You throw up 400 of them, and okay, they sold out. They sold out. No one needs to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Made to order Black Series would feed families. Like starving children would, like it would feed families.
It would unite the world, align the planets. World peace would be achieved.
Yes, and remember when I said
Anakin Skywalker will be released.
I was just gonna
made to order.
Yep.
Yeah, remember I said a new Anakin would bring peace to the Middle East.
It's true.
So
you did say that.
It's I mean
We'll
things are looking up. The
They're
pipeline
looking
has
good.
the world in a better place, but it's not fully fixed. We need the true new Anakin, which we'll talk about later. But now enough sad content talking about the Rancor. Let's talk about what we're here to talk about. It is San Diego Comic-Con, Black Series Reveal Day. So it's time to get hyped. This is why we do these podcasts, because we love talking about... I just hit my mic. Hopefully that didn't affect anybody.
I'm
listening
okay.
With headphones anyways.
No, I didn't hear it.
All right, cool. But this is why we have this podcast, because we love talking about these specific figures and this specific figure line. And days like today are the reason why people who are listening to this listen, and people who are watching this watch, and people who are in the community. Like, this is why. So let's jump right in. San Diego Comic-Con Black Series reveals. Do you want to do like just a quick overall thoughts? We don't talk about specific figures, but Sebastian, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how hyped are you for all of these ones?
This, I don't know about scale wise, but I have to say this was probably the best San Diego reveal live stream for me, between the reveals and the pipelines. I mean, I thought last year was good when they pipelined like Super Battle Droid and Droidica and everything like that. But this year, I don't know. There was something about it. Like every time a new reveal popped up, I'm like, that looks awesome. And then the pipelines came through, and to me, the pipelines just got better and better as they added the next one in.
It's like that Vince McMahon meme where it just it just keeps getting better. Yeah,
and it falls back.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I saw it. I saw a comment. Best SDCC for Black Series, not Star Wars.
That's true. No, that's true.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna, Mike. What are your overall? I'm trying to scroll back and find what exactly last year's was on my Instagram, because I know I would have posted it somewhere.
I mean, there wasn't one figure where I'm like, I don't really care about that. There weren't any surprises, at least in the actual figure reveals, other than the one that was shown off before the reveals. We got 2 reveals before today's reveals. Those were surprising, and then everything they showed us today during the panel, we've either seen or was leaked or was pipelined. So that wasn't crazy, but I still enjoyed seeing them. I definitely think the actual reveal stream, and we didn't watch the panel. We watched the recap, which they put up
at the same time.
This is a funny story. They put it up at the same time the panel was going on. So if you're watching the recap, they're talking about, this is a recap of what we announced earlier during the panel. But the panel was physically happening while we're watching the recap. But since they're recapping it, they did it a lot faster. So we knew the reveals and had pictures and pipelines 15 or 20 minutes before they even got to them, because they were doing recaps and stuff. And, the panels always go a little crazy with extra talking and jokes and stuff like that, where we were just getting information thrown at us. So by the time we were done, we're posting it. And so I had Victoria, friend of the show.
I saw that.
Comment on my Twitter where she's like, "How are you getting the pipelines? I'm in the panel. They haven't done it yet." It was I watched the recap of the panel, which apparently is in the future.
You should have said, "I am the new Yak Face."
I know. I'm the new this whole thing. Anyway, it was funny, but I give the actual figures shown off today, I give maybe a B plus. But then
I'm with that.
But then the pipeline is S tier.
Pipeline is amazing.
Yeah,
that seems to keep happening over these live streams. I mean, and not to take away from the reveals. I love seeing the figures, but I actually look forward to the pipelines now.
The pipeline,
actually seeing the figures, which is crazy because, what we were just talking about earlier, seeing the physical figure and how they execute it is one of those things we look forward to. But I mean, when they did the May the 4th stream, I was like, yeah, okay, well, we saw Palpatine or Sidious already. We saw the 3-pack. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna redo Farm Boy Luke and Princess Leia as pipelines."
Right.
That was more exciting to me than what they revealed. So
Same.
Yeah. So I went back and looked at last year's SDCC just because I was curious. And if I'm comparing the two, I think Super Battle Droid and Droidica are like up there at the top of what was announced across these 2 years at SDCC because those were pipelined last year. However, this year is overall better because last year they revealed a lot of holiday figures, and the holiday figures are cool.
True.
But
Yeah.
but if you're doing a San Diego Comic-Con reveal and you get 6 holiday Christmas figures announced,
Holiday
it's kind of
figures or like a credit collection or carbonized
stuff like that.
like that. You shouldn't take up our time with that stuff. Like that's a random article on a random Tuesday or like a random fan first kind of stream. That's not an SDCC. That's not a big time stream.
Yeah, exactly. And it was the I think the if this is the same day, it was like the Ahsoka figures like Hera and Sabine also, but it was mostly holiday figures. So this year overall I think is better, but last year it had the pipelines with Droidica and SPD are probably still top tier. But yeah, overall I thought today was very good. There's probably some things I'm not picking up at least right away.
Surprised we didn't get a holocom version of any of them.
A holocom Basil. Oh gosh. All right, we got Lane Speeder Luke in the chat.
Yeah.
It was only bangers today. Interesting
At
comment.
least for Black. I didn't really pay attention. I don't think TVC fared as well, but honestly, I don't care about TVC, so it doesn't affect my opinion of the Black Series portion at all.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like they're pushing TVC more to the online market now.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
These main lines have been, and I will give TVC collectors credit. These mainline waves have been horrible this year.
Yeah,
with the Mando repaints, barely changing anything. What they revealed today is just more. It really sounds like it's going to be more of a, like the fan channel waves are doing better for TVC versus the Black Series waves. TVC's funding HasLabs. They're doing the pre-order windows. Just
right.
That's my opinion, and I heard it before. I don't remember who you had on the show many weeks ago, but they said that just make TVC on online only because a lot of the fans are probably, ordering more so online. And I don't know. That's just my opinion. But these definitely the TVC mainline waves have been looking awesome.
Well, I mean, like who collects TVC? Basically, the only people that really do. I mean, and this might not be universally true, obviously, but like it's basically like people my age.
Yeah, majority
that grew up. Yeah, the majority of TVC collectors are people that have collected like Black or Star Wars figures since like the 70s, 80s, and 90s that just really like that scale. But like newer collectors, like the casual person, like they're going to gravitate more towards larger figures. Like they have more mass appeal, whereas I feel like TVC is more niche.
Very focused. Yeah, it's very focused.
Yeah.
And it fits the time. You look at so many other companies. What are they making? 6 and 7 inch figures.
Yeah, exactly.
What were they making back in the 90s? 3 3/4 inch figures. The Marvel figures were 3 3/4 inch. The just everything at that time. And then 6 inch took off. It's I'll say upgrading with the times. Now is the time where it's 6 and 7 inch. You go into the toy aisle at Walmart and Target. What do you have? Marvel Legends, McFarlane, Transformers. They're all within the same.
Dragon Ball Z SH Figuarts over in the other aisle. NECA horror figures. They're all 7 inch.
Yeah.
Bigger.
There's very few lines that are 3.75 inch anymore. Like they still exist, like Joy Toy Online and Fresh Monkey Fiction's doing them, but like they're all kind of niche collector. Like you have to be a very specific kind of collector to really be into those. It's not the thing that most people like.
So speaking of TVC real quick, before we jump into the Black Series reveals, we can talk about how the TVC live action Thrawn is just a reused body.
It's so sad.
They didn't even give him the dad bod.
No, they
Come
took
on
the
now.
same Thrawn TVC figure and just updated the head and the skin color.
It looks so bad.
Yeah.
It looks so awful. I hadn't
I
seen any reaction of the TVC crowd on that figure, but I can't believe,
Same.
I can't imagine it's
Yeah.
positive.
when I get the Ahsoka one in, I'll put the live action head on the Rebels one. I'll be like, it's okay, guys. I have that version now too, so don't worry about it.
Smart.
I'm gonna live on the podcast. I'm gonna go to the Star Wars TVC subreddit, and I'm gonna click on that figure.
Don't start a fight. Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna start a fight. Okay, I thought you were gonna start a fight.
No,
We're good.
no.
We're good. Yeah.
I just want to gauge the reaction to see if they're talking about that. So top comment says, "Oh wait, no, I'm not gonna read these."
Don't get us canceled.
Yeah, people are mad that it's not on the dad bod and it's just a reuse of the other one. So
which is funny because when they announced the Black Series one, people are like, "Oh, dad!" They gave him a dad bod. Oh, I can't believe they did that. Like, do you want it accurate or you do not want it accurate?
All right, so enough of that TVC stuff on the Black Series Cantina. Let's jump into what we're here for. Black Series reveals, and we're starting it off strong. We're doing it in order. And bam, the first reveal we're going to talk about is the STAP and Battle Droid in the Black Series. Finally, how many times on this podcast, on every other Black Series show there is, have we mentioned a Black Series STAP, and it's finally here.
This is the perfect vehicle for the line. It's small. It looks. It's like George Lucas was like, how can we make a Segway scooter cool? You put guns on it and you make it fly. That's it. That's all they did.
And it works.
And it works.
It's sick.
And just like the Bloodfin, I love the fact that it's in that classic packaging because
yes.
I remember
Chef's
walking into that aisle and seeing it on the shelf. It immediately sparked, like, I was 8 when the Phantom Menace came out, and just being able to like take a trip back in time to see that. I don't keep it in the box, so I mean it's going to go in the garbage anyway, but just being able to see it, like,
it's part of the experience.
It's so cool.
It's getting the box and seeing it like this is part of the experience, and it definitely evokes the nostalgia.
How they did the Cantina in the green Power of the Force packaging.
Correct.
That was cool. That did nothing for the
throwback
figures on my display, but it's just the fact that to me, stuff like that goes so far in the fandom because they're taking the time to say, all right, let's not just put it in a regular Black Series box. How can we elevate this just slightly to make it a little more appealing in the packaging? And this to me is a home run. It's
perfect. Yeah, somebody commented on my TikTok video about this, and it was funny because they were like, "This is so trash. They're gonna suck your money or drain your money with nostalgia." And I was like,
what?
"Okay, that's what I want." Like, like
don't
give
threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, like it's like I want the nostalgia. Bring me the nostalgia.
This is slightly off topic, but it's adjacent. Like I just saw Deadpool Wolverine last night, and like there's a movie in there, but literally like 95% of the movie is references and cameos. And without those references and cameos, you just get like a middling superhero movie. Like that's it. Mm-hmm. You know? But like that's kind of what makes it fun when you get something like that. I don't want everything to be like that. I don't want all of my movies to be like that. I don't want all my figures to be like this, but I love that they're doing this for this. That's what I want.
Yeah, and like we already mentioned, the perfect vehicle. It's literally the same. It's about the same size as a normal figure would be.
Yep.
And so this is going to be $49.99, and there's been a small, like a minority of collectors who are upset about the $49.99, and I can't comprehend the $49.99 like being upset at that price point.
It's the same price as the speeder bike was when Amazon did it, and
$25 figure included with it because that's what they cost now.
Yep.
And so you're paying $25 for the STAP. It's not mass released. It's going to be an exclusive. So there's some exclusive price into that. To me, $50 is fine. I would pay
it's fair. Like
even if there wasn't, if they released just the STAP for $25, that's like a perfect price.
It's a deal. Yeah. You get the STAP, the stand, the exclusive packaging, the Battle Droid with updated paint deco. Like it has on the back, it has the exclusive, the 1138. that he had in the movie.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Oh, that's fun. I did not notice
Oh,
that
you didn't
before.
notice that? Yeah.
No,
I
that's
didn't notice
great.
that. Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's got
That's
update. Yeah, it's
Stuff
the
like
one
that,
riding the
you know?
staff.
Well, now
is,
I have to get this because that makes it a very specific battle droid. The
Yeah.
problem is now I'm going to get like 3 of these, and I'm going to have 3 of those battle droids.
Well, you can maybe they're like a squad. Maybe you know. You
That's
just have
true. Maybe the
there'll be a
1138
right?
squad. Yeah, the 1138 squad.
It was the
So,
same thing
and
with the PulseCon Star Killer. Like,
Yeah.
people were complaining about the price. First of all, it's $75 worth of figures in that thing. So
Easily, yeah.
right off the bat, yeah, you're paying $35 for accessories. But look at all the accessories that came with that thing. So
Yep. Yeah,
I
$49.99
would've-
for this. This is the dream. This is a dream come
Yeah.
true for us Black Series collectors.
If there's one thing I could say, I wish it had like some kind of blast effect for the blaster.
Yeah.
But like I feel like that's such a nitpick. I feel like this is so easy. And at $50, I'm definitely at least getting 2, if not 3, because I want at least one to put like Anakin Skywalker on. Or
Clone
like
Wars Anakin we're getting.
the Clone Wars Anakin, Clone Wars Mace. There's I when I did my Clone Wars Mace review, like there's an episode where like he jumps off a bridge or whatever and then lands on a STAP and rides it around blowing stuff up. So like that's specifically from a specific episode, you know. So there's definitely cause for getting more. And what's cool about having them come with a battle droid is like you can army build battle droids. Not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
like
I'm
the
definitely-
stormtroopers in the Star Killer pack. Like you're buying more stormtroopers. Who cares?
Yeah, I'm definitely in for multiple of these. My only complaint though is a lot of people are saying they want multiple of these. So, and since
I
it
am.
is a PulseCon exclusive and it's a limited run, I really hope they re-release this in a standard Phantom Menace, Galaxy packaging deluxe box, so people can keep army building these if they want, or re-release the stat with a Clone Wars Anakin. Because now we're getting
Sure.
2 Clone
Now
Wars
they have the
Anakins,
mold.
essentially.
Now
We're
they
gonna
have the
old
mold.
one.
Yeah.
They can repaint it to the blue one, how Hot Toys did.
Yep.
And they can re-release the Clone Wars Anakin again. So,
Well,
I'm
the thing
so
is,
excited.
Zach. The thing is, Zach, is people have to show up, like for it. If the Darth Maul sells well, and if this sells well, we're going to be sending that message to Hasbro saying, "We want this. This is something that we want. Please make more of this."
Yep. There's a reason these are limited, exclusives, essentially. They're not hitting fan channel. They're not mainline or anything. Like, they don't want to overproduce these and lose money again like they did with the... If the Snowspeeder came out today, it would not hit as many stores as it did. It would be a lot more limited. So we have to send the message that we back small vehicles in the line. And I think just general fan reaction... Everybody seems pretty pleased with this. Everybody seems pretty pleased with the Bloodfin. So I'm really excited that small vehicles are back. And then also, when you mentioned blast effects, I really hope Cubic 3D Prints can cook up something. I really hope he can come in clutch for us. He did with the Droideka.
He's absolutely true.
So somebody needs to shoot him a DM and say, get one of these ASAP, and then start working your magic for the resin prints. But any other thoughts on the staff before we move along?
I'm just happy we have it.
it's perfect.
It's perfect.
Brilliant. How many are you going to pick up?
Just one. I'm a one and done person. Yeah, I don't.
I used
don't
to
army
be.
build.
I wish I could say that. I used to be.
I used
Yeah.
to be kind of a completionist too, but then like I started off with carbonized and a little bit of credit, and I'm like, no, they're running this.
It's
into
too
the ground.
much. Yeah,
It's
for
too
sure.
much. So now I'm a strict. If it's in media, that's it. That's
Yeah,
what
it
I
was super
collect.
easy to be a completionist until about 2018, and that's when it
It
started getting a little
exploded.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I plan on getting at least 2 because I need one to keep in the box because I just love anytime they do this throwback packaging. I feel like I need one for the show.
I get it.
One
Yeah.
for the like the Bloodfin. I really hope I can keep that one in the box, and then if I can't get a second one, maybe they'll re-release a movie accurate version that I can
Hold
open.
up.
For pre-order. right
Entertainment
now.
Earth has got. Okay, so we haven't gotten
Oh,
this,
yeah,
but
'cause
hold on.
John's already-
Yeah, timeout.
Already up,
Podcast
so.
timeout.
But podcast timeout. This is what happens.
So
But I
the
think,
wave includes. Oh, no, that's a TVC wave. Whoops. Go ahead, Sebastian.
I was gonna say with what's included with the wave is what's there, but I think the single release of Maul is supposed to be in that wave too.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Mike,
I'm
are you?
not
I
s-
don't.
I'm
I
not seeing
don't
it.
see the listing.
I'm
not
not seeing
the
it. Yeah.
I think we're getting trolled right now. I think we're getting trolled. Or unless they added it and then they just
And it's
deleted
haven't
it, but,
populated or something.
So the person who send the link in the chat, Reno as 22, if you can. But we can probably just go ahead and move on until we actually.
Oh, for
find
sure.
it. All right, so STAP is amazing. We are going to move on to another figure that was revealed before the official panel. It was like the day before. And we have Vernestra Rowe without the lightsaber whip, which is a little disappointing. You know, we would have really loved to see the white lightsaber whip. Of course, it probably would have had to be deluxe. But we've
Found
seen
it.
Hasbro do this before. They did. Oh, you found the link? We've seen Hasbro do this before with the Dr. What's his name from? Doc Ock from Spider-Man. He has the bendy wire
Correct. Yep.
legs. So hopefully Hasbro can do something like that for Vanessa Rhodes lightsabers. So I'm probably not picking this one up right now. I'm going to wait. If they do a lightsaber whip version, I'll get. But Sebastian, are you in on Vanessa Rhodes right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna get it. Like I enjoyed the Acolyte to a certain extent enough to enjoy the figures. It wasn't my favorite show. It's probably at the bottom of all of the shows that they released, but it was still enjoyable. It was still Star Wars. I'm gonna probably say, and this is gonna sound like me making an excuse, this was probably one of those moments of early concept art because I'm gonna pull out an actually. She used the whip in the show when she was more in like the gold robes on the I can't remember the planet name
On
when she was going to
Kofar?
investigate.
Kofar?
Yeah, on Kofar. Yeah. So theoretically, I guess maybe that's what they were going for. But again, I don't. I think they could have done it easily, but to me, this was just like I said, maybe an early stages of creation.
I don't know, maybe, but like it's not like this character. This is one of the few
Didn't it-
characters that have existed before the show, and she had a light
True.
whip then
Yeah,
as
true.
well. So it wasn't like a surprise that she had one. It's like the one character's defining feature from that's like the one thing that most people knew about her, if they knew about her, was that's the one with the light whip. That's the kind of thing that I feel like maybe Cubic 3D prints could fix with, releasing some kind of whippy extension. Like they could have just had an alternate blade. So maybe I'll wait for the mercenary version that comes with an alternate blade. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
you know what? They didn't even need to make it bendy. I mean, you look at like the whips that they did for Indiana Jones; they
True.
were set in place. Even if they made it a
That's
little
true.
squiggly,
Yep.
that could have been fine. Just to give it an effect that when she's standing on the shelf with her arm up,
Right.
it looks like it's given that effect. So,
Exactly. Just like Indiana
Yeah, that
Jones.
makes
Heck, I'll
sense.
just put
Yeah.
Indiana Jones whip in her hand.
yeah.
I'll
Paint
just
it
color
purple.
it blue. I'll
Paint
just
it
paint it.
purple.
Yeah, I'll just paint it purple or whatever. Yeah. I'm gonna pick her up because I like the Acolyte and I want to complete that. Even though, like, she's my least favorite character in the show, but like not because I think she was bad or anything. I just think she's just a terrible Jedi. Just a god awful Jedi. Like she's basically like Joffrey Baratheon, where you're like, I just hate you. Like I hate you. Kind of thing, but I think that's kind of intentional. Like I don't think you're supposed to be rooting for her or like her, at least
No, I
not
don't
in the
think
show.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't say so. Yeah, so
yes. Hold on, Master Comstar. The whip is an alternate setting, so it's not like this is inaccurate. Like her lightsaber is a standard lightsaber, but then she also it can turn into a whip. So they should have just included an alternate blade for it.
yeah, it's a little unfortunate, that
Yeah.
they couldn't include the whip, but I guess it is what it is.
You gotta ghost ride
not-
the whip.
I'm not picking this one up right now. Mike, are you still in on this one without the whip?
Yeah, I'm
Or are
gonna.
you gonna
I'm
wait?
picking it up. No, I'm gonna pick it up.
All right, that's Vernestra Road. Then we're moving on to another leaked figure, Basil. We only got the head
There
last
he
time.
is.
This
we
is the
got
figure
Basil.
that pissed, because this would have been a complete surprise if we hadn't had, and it was just the head that was leaked. But if we hadn't had that head leaked, we wouldn't know about this at all. So it kind of ruined that surprise for this.
Yeah, it did. But honestly, I wasn't expecting to get Basil fully revealed. I was expecting the pipeline.
Same.
So that was at least
Yeah.
a little cool that we do get the official images. But he looks cool. I feel like $24.99.
It's a little much. It's a little
It seems
much.
a little high.
Yeah.
I know we were just talking about Black Series price, but this isn't a full figure. There's a lot of detail on the figure and a lot of sculpting, and
He's
they
my
got the
furry little
inkjet
baby boy,
face.
and I love him. He's the classic, just weird ass Star Wars character that Star Wars has from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
So
He's a
like
tracker.
this is part of the, and apparently this is another character from like High Republic or something like that. Like I haven't read all of them, so I don't know, but I've heard that like people are like, oh, Basil, I know that guy, but I love weird little creatures and characters like this. This is the kind of Star Wars that I love, so I'm in 100%. Even though it's gonna suck to pay $25 for him, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah. And
Yep.
Anakin was 25, the Phantom Menace, but it
True.
sucks paying 25 for that.
Yeah, I
because
wasn't
it
happy to
didn't
pay
come with
25 for him. Yeah.
Yeah. It
I
didn't
said
come with
that in my
anything.
review. Yeah,
Yeah.
he came with a backpack, and that's it.
But at least Basil, there's a lot more, I guess, visually appealing.
He has a
There's
lot more going for him. Yeah, he's got a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
the little visor that goes up and down. He's got a little pip, and I love Pip. I love Pip. I'm not ashamed to say it.
Even the color palette on him versus Anakin. Anakin had a variety of like 4 colors.
Drab.
This one has,
Tans, yeah.
Yeah,
you got the white, the tan, the blue, the gold, the different shades of blue, the
The
face.
brown straps,
this,
yeah.
absolutely.
I'm sounding
Yeah, I
like
think-
Hasbro with their paint apps.
But it looks like they nailed Basil. Looks like he's a cool little figure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's funny they had to include the parentheses Jedi Order tracker,
Well, they
that's
couldn't put a
necessary.
Jedi tracker.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
or just Basil. It literally just could be Basil. That's the
You could just say
character.
Basil. Yeah. Oh,
You
as
could
opposed to
just-
the other different Basils.
Yeah, like what other Basil is there? Like what else does he do? So next year, whenever we get Acolyte Season 2 in 2
Yeah.
years, they're gonna do Basil Sith Lord. Is that gonna be the next one? 'Cause he-
Sith Lord Basil. Yeah. It's Basil
There's-
Mercenary.
Basil Mercenary.
Yeah.
Basil Mercenary.
I love how that's been like the running
That's
meme in Black
my
Series.
favorite meme. Yeah.
All right, but enough Basil chat. So we have some pretty cool figures now, especially if you love the Andor series. Cassian Andor in a pretty sick look. We had this body leaked, but we didn't really know
We
what
did.
it was until that picture came up.
It was a
Um,
big thing on Facebook, or there was a whole thread on one of the groups that were people trying to figure out, like, no, these are Jedi or Kylo Ren arms, and this is this and this is from that. And I'm like, it's not any of those. This is a new figure. People are like, no, it's not a new figure. I'm like, this is a brand new figure. We've never had any of these parts. The jacket's different. The pants are
100%
different.
new. They even
The
mentioned
shoes are different. 100% new figure.
And I gotta say, this is the coolest looking Cassian in the entire line, or
It
in
is.
the entire the coolest Cassian we have in the Black Series.
Yeah.
Somebody commented and said it's amazing how he looks more like Diego Luna than Diego Luna.
Diego
does.
Luna.
Like that.
Yeah.
That's easily the best Cassian face we've seen.
Yeah.
Out of
The
all-
hair
Oh,
is,
yeah, by far,
I think the
yeah.
hair makes it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna, all the other Cassians on the shelf, I'm probably putting up because I have the one in the jacket, from the pack that came with B2 Emo. But that one, he only wore that for like the first part of the first episode, or maybe a little bit of the second. I can't really remember the beginning of it, but this is almost like a definitive look. I feel like, this is
Yeah,
a
for
pretty
sure.
sick look for
Yeah.
Cassian. And the box is pretty. I love the.
Yep.
We have another red color that Revenge of the Sith should have been. But for some
Really
reason,
should've,
the Andor show should have been like white for the ISB or gray for the Empire or something. But we get another red. That's not Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith is like the Mandalorian colored orange. But yeah, I'm probably gonna wait on this one still. I don't think this was gonna be. I don't necessarily need an Andor right off the bat. But are you all in on this one? I'm assuming.
I'm in on this one.
Yep. I usually wait. I don't pre-order mainline figures because they're available everywhere. So this is going to be the ones that I will get when it comes out. But I mean, yeah.
I always get antsy if I can't pre-order something because I just like the peace of mind of knowing that like I've got one locked in. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've tried not to pre-order some things, but then it's like I almost like looking at. Because if I want it, I kind of like looking at it on my spreadsheet that I'm going to get it. And rather than like, if I don't pre-order something, maybe I'll forget about it or like it'll just... I like looking at it on my spreadsheet that it's pre-ordered because it's kind of a reminder of what I want that's coming out soon.
I think a lot of it comes down to like when you started collecting. Because like people like Sebastian and I, or even you, we've been collecting so long. We remember the times where... Like, if you didn't pre-order a figure, you might not get it because it was really hard to find. There were times where, like, it was really hard to find figures. They just weren't in stores. They were getting scalped or the distribution sucked or whatever. So if you didn't pre-order it, like, even as far back as, like, the Hunter wave with Crosshair and... Asajj Ventress, like there are tons of people that complain they never got that, and like I got it because I pre-ordered it. Like I got them in, wasn't a big deal. I never had to like track them down or find them or whatever. So like I remember when that was the norm for Black Series. So I still have that ingrained in me that like I have to pre-order it or else I might not get it. Even though for like the last 2 or 3 years that has not been the case.
Yeah, you remember the good old days of like the early Black Series Walgreens exclusives?
Yeah.
Where it's like they're impossible. The white Boba Fett was impossible to find. Like,
the Emperor's Wrath Vader, C-3PO for a while, Vader. The Force Ghost Obi-Wan.
Yep.
Clone Commander Obi-Wan, or the General Obi-Wan. Like those are always super hard to find because you couldn't pre-order those. You had to like just hope that your Walgreens got one.
Yeah, every day I swung into like 3 different Walgreens.
3 different, Luckily, Walgreens are everywhere.
Boba Fett. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was in college at the time, so I was burning valuable gas money looking for that white Boba Fett, and it finally happened. But in my opinion, a figure I'll be pre-ordering day 1 from the Andor series, Deidre Miro.
Yeah.
This figure looks amazing. I was stoked whenever they pipelined her, and I think they absolutely crushed the figure. Like, it looks so good.
That face is spot on. Like, spot on. And I mean, I know they've been doing great with some faces lately, but when that one popped up, even the images that I was looking at were, blurry and off to the side. I'm like, that's her face. That's her likeness.
Mm-hmm.
So this is on the Tala body, right?
Yes.
Talia? Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna grab it quick.
Wait, is it? Does Tala have the 2?
I think what they said in the thing was they used that body as a base, but then they tweaked it so it had the right the right badges and stuff. Yeah.
The skirt's different because on the Tala it has the
it doesn't have the holster. That's right.
Show that again. Show that again.
So that's a new piece there.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Well, I think probably the whole upper torso is new because it's got a different ranking and things like that. So
I think she only has 3 blue bars, but Tala had 3 red and a blue, so they probably had to change that. And actually, I'm trying to look at it. Tala's looks a lot thinner than.
Yeah, Tala's proportions are a little wonky.
They're a little wonky.
So I hope they're better. I hope they look better so far in this image of Deidre, anyways. And the data pad she comes with is pretty cool. We could have used like some green paint for the screen or something, or some white, some white and blue lines or something. But
I think Luke in chat said it could use some stickers, and I agree. It'd be nice if someone could print up some like stickers or whatever you could just kind of stick on there.
And music to my ears, hearing Eric say, "Oh, and we even shaded the top of her hair to make sure that
Yeah,
the hair
and it looks
color,
great.
like
Yeah.
stuff
It
like
is.
that. I love hearing details put in rather than just a straight one color hairline. That was
Yeah.
great to hear when they do stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for Deidre. I'm pre-ordering this one. So
I think
and
they're gonna
it
do a
says
Cyril for you, so you can have a Cyril and Deidre.
have them just making out on the shelf. Yeah. So Deidre is pretty cool. Next up, we have a controversial figure, and we
Yeah.
called it. We called it.
We did call it. Unfortunately,
No
we were
cloak.
right.
I did not think we were going to get a cloak, and it is confirmed. Unfortunately, the Ahsoka Tano Peridia
Yeah.
does not include a cloak, so now everybody has to wait for. I'm going to do the meme again. Ahsoka Tano mercenary for the cloak eventually. How are you all feeling about this Ahsoka? It looks like a great figure. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
But the no cloak bothers me. The no cloak does bother me.
I have a hard time. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that we're going to. I don't necessarily know if we're gonna see this as an exclusive with the cloak, but I'm gonna say something along the lines of like a 2-pack with maybe like a Death Trooper, where they reuse most of that and make it like a zombie trooper or even like another night trooper or something like that. Even though she doesn't battle them in the cloak, I don't know, something
They'll have
tells me
some
that they're gonna
excuse.
do it.
They'll have some
Yeah.
excuse to
It'll be a multi-pack
her
or
and-
an exclusive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not in on this, because they burned us with
Yeah.
the Balin and the Shin by releasing those with cloaks or Jedi. Yeah, the cloaks, not robes, right after. So if they had released those initially with the robes, I would be buying this. You know, if it had the robe, of course, but or like even if they didn't release Balin and Shin with the cloak, I'd probably be in on this because it's kind of the standard. Excuse me, but now the standard is they've said is though they're going to release it and then they'll do exclusive with the cloak. So I'm holding out on this one. It looks fantastic though. Like the Lakus are nice and long, which is great because the other Ahsokas don't look quite right because in her original appearance in Mandalorian they were a little short.
I'm
But
looking
it does
at
look
it.
really
I
great.
mean, a lot of the parts are new. Like I
Yeah.
have the original.
Yeah, it's
one in
mostly
front of
new.
me.
Yeah.
Legs.
Yeah,
are
it's not just a
new,
recolor.
torso
Yeah.
I mean, that looks. It's all even the torso. Like I thought the torso was reused at first, but the way that the tunic actually lays, it's completely different than the original. So. I mean, that's kind of what
Tim-
we wanted. We didn't want a
Yeah.
repaint of the first one. So
No, I'm super glad it's not a repaint for sure. Timbo Toys, when they don't include something like that, the answer is always budget for whatever reason. That's the answer they'll give is, oh, budget. It wasn't in the budget. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just saying like that's the answer. If you asked Hasbro face to face, they'll say, "Oh, it just wasn't in the budget." That's just how it is. I hear you. I understand they will 100% release this with a cloak sometime down the line. But I don't know if I could resist.
You can't wait.
I don't think I
can't wait.
can. I really don't. I love this look so much. This is the one I wanted. And if they re-release it with the cloak sometime down the line, depending on how they do it and what the cloak looks like, I might get that. I'm probably not gonna like. I know someone like Josh's Custom Capes or someone will release a cloak that matches it, and you can probably go that route if you want to. But like my head tells me don't pre-order it. They'll release it with a cloak, but my heart is like, no, man, you want it, buy it.
It is a little tough to resist, but I'm standing my ground. Hasbro burned me, so I'm holding my ground on this one.
I 100% get it. 100%. And you're not wrong to do it.
Yeah. So, no cloak, unfortunately, but the figure looks like a top tier Black Series figure.
It does.
Yeah.
Honestly. So,
Yep.
Still a great release, but the cloak, we're a little burned right now. So, holding off. All right, next up, we have two more physical reveals. And we have the Imperial Armored Commando, which was pipelined and leaked by Garoba on Instagram before the Pinkertons came and got him, and he had to ban his account. or he had to delete his account. But this is probably the coolest reveal of the day, in my opinion. I don't know how you all are feeling on
Second
that.
for me. Second for me.
Second for me too. Yeah.
We're not talking
Believe-
pipelines though, just physical
No.
reveals.
Believe
Right?
it or not, the one that you have coming up next, I think, was my favorite.
Same.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Imperial Army Commando looks as amazing as I think we all expected him to be. I love the color palette on it. Like it's like a dark, it's not like a grayish green, like underbody, like the undersuit, and then the white and the gray armor looks really nice.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited for these ones.
Yeah.
Need like 3 of these dudes to fight Paz Vizsla is what you need.
Right,
And
get
just-
a nice 3D print battle.
Yeah, like that would be pretty rad. And I wonder
Or you can get
if
like 50 of them and do like poses of them flying against all your blue Mandalorians.
That
and
too,
then all
yeah.
your Imperial Armored Commandos.
Well, and
I
another great
wonder-
selling point, the jetpack. Knowing
I was
that
gonna say I wonder if the jetpack will
And-
fit the Mando.
fit Mando.
It does. It does
It does?
because Garoba posted a
posted
video,
it.
Okay.
a picture of it. Yeah. Garoba posted a picture of Mando wearing it.
Yeah, I'm
So
definitely
you know
getting
they're-
2 of these.
They're gonna release the Glavis Mando, and call it whatever planet they were on. I forget which one they were on. With him wearing the backpack.
with
this
him
jetpack,
with this
yeah.
backpack for sure.
Yeah.
Probably with a soft goods cape as well.
Yeah. I would hope so anyways. It wouldn't make sense if they didn't. But yeah, to me, this is the coolest one of the day. I really love the one we're going to talk about next, but Imperial Armored Commando, I'm probably in on maybe 2 of these.
I'm getting
not-
2. Yeah.
I'll explain why the next one is my favorite one. It goes back to that episode. So
All right. And then, all right, let's go ahead and jump into IG-12 and Grogu. So I do love this one. I do love this one because of what it means for a potentially new IG-88 and IG-11, because they did say this is a fully new sculpt, and it is cool because the middle opens up, which I have on this picture on the left. The middle opens up, the head spins, they crush this figure. So what are your all's thoughts on this one?
Well, and the other thing is the fingers are articulated too, because
Yeah.
when we saw the leak, they were in different positions, which I think is awesome as well. The 2 reasons why, like you said, this opens the realm of a proper IG-88, which I'll be thrilled
Yes.
about if they can update that. All it is a torso swap. That's all it is. So they have the mold, just do it. And the second reason is when this episode came out and I was watching it with my wife, I know a lot of people were like angry with the yes, no buttons and everything like that. But see,
A loud minority.
yeah. My little guy, like when we looked at one another, we're like, if he were in that suit, that would be him. Like when this season came out, so we were rolling because we're like, that's our son
Yeah.
in an IG assassin droid right now, doing that, because that is exactly what he
Yeah,
is
that's
doing.
awesome.
So we were rolling from that. So being able to now have like an action figure of that, just to kind of remember the moment where we were watching that together and dying of laughter because we thought it was so good, like that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I love that scene. Like me and my wife were cracking up. Like
Same.
Baby Yoda's just so
It
cute
is.
and doing that.
It's
yeah.
a fun scene.
My wife and I
fun
were
scene.
like, I think she made me replay it because it just cracking her up so much of just him just yes, like
And then the bad baby comment. I mean, like
you would no
you
squeezy.
don't even know. Yeah, you don't even expect it, and
No.
it was. I know a lot of people
Like
were like,
the
"Oh,
people
put me
that
out
are
of the
mad at
episode." It
that,
didn't.
I don't want to be friends with people that are mad at that, because like what kind of just joyless life do you live where you can't find humor and stuff like that? Like, oh, I'm too mature to think that this is funny. Like, what? Come on.
Yeah.
You're watching Star Wars, buddy. Like, what's wrong? Who hurt you?
Yeah, I love that scene, and I mean it happens in the beginning of the episode too, so it's not like it interrupted an important scene or anything at the end.
No,
Like,
it
if
was
it
just
were
good fun.
If it were a Marvel movie, they would have put it like right in the middle of the climax. But it's a beginning. It was like in the first 5 minutes, I think, of a Star Wars, like an 8-episode TV series. Like I absolutely, it's one of the best. It's one of the best scenes in the entire Mandalorian series. I'll say it.
Yep.
It's like a
Well,
top
and
10
even
scene for sure.
even that, like Mando's reaction to it, where he's like, "Take him
Yeah.
out of there," and he says no, and he's like, "Well, what do you mean
No.
no?" I'm
Yeah.
like, that is a dad kid moment right
Yep.
there. It is a kid.
It shows
saying
their
no.
relationship and how
Yeah,
they've
it does.
grown.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he chases him around the room. Like, come on, that's golden right there.
Yeah, it's so good. When they pipeline this, I was like, oh my god, it's everything. And I was thinking about all the ways it could go wrong. Like, oh, they're just gonna reuse the IG 88 body we've already had, and it's gonna be terrible. It's gonna fall over all the time. I just was assuming the worst, and the fact that it's the best. It's like everything they could do right, they did. New body, head to toe, like properly scaled, because that was something Eric said. Like
Yeah.
they properly
It's
scaled
important.
it.
Yeah.
It's important. So this is what I want right here, and like you said, it's what it means for the future of the line. Like, give me an IG 11, give me an IG 88.
There is a picture floating out there of when they were putting the display case. He's standing right behind Deidre, and he towers over her, which is
Good.
exactly what he needed to be.
Yeah.
He needed to be that tall.
And the fact that they have him like bending like that on his knee, that was the other thing, because you cannot do that with the old mold. You just can't. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And are the rubber pieces gone too, or is that molded plastic? It looks like
it's molded plastic. Yeah, it looks. I don't know about the elbows, but at least it looks like it's molded plastic on the, because the rubber's falling apart on the old ones.
Oh yeah, when I got my IG, knowing the IG88 deteriorated as soon as IG11 came in, I ripped them off because I'm like, I'm not gonna leave them on. I know they're gonna fall off anyway, so I might as well just get it over with. So it's good that they don't have them.
Yeah, you all might have changed my mind just thinking about, because I did mention like the future of the line, like IG88. This might be the coolest reveal, honestly. And also, like, I was kind of worried when they revealed it that the midsection, like Grogu, would just be stuck in there, and it might be just his top half. But we get a full Grogu figure, and you can.
It's
open
not
the
soft goods
chest
like we
to
thought
pull
from the
him
picture. We thought it was soft
yeah.
goods from the picture, but it's not.
I think it looks like, I'm looking at it. It looks like it's the same one that they included with the Book of Boba Fett Luke, because he's standing up. He's standing up straight.
I feel like this looks different to me.
Does it? I can't tell.
Let me pull up that Book of Boba Fett Luke. Luke and Grogu.
I mean, I could just go get mine. It's right here.
Yeah, I have mine right here too. They made like 8 of them, so it's hard to.
Yeah, I have all my Grogus kind of mixed up, so I don't really know which one is which exactly. I think it's different.
It's different.
Yeah, I think it's yeah.
It's definitely different. The molding is different for sure, and his feet are a lot more uncovered.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, look, so we get a brand new 100% new Grogu as well. So yeah, perfect.
Hold on. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. My headphones died, so I just wanted to make sure.
That happens.
So that the sound might have changed.
No, you sound fine.
It used to happen to me all the time on really long podcasts, but now I upgraded to the AirPod Pros, so fortunately that doesn't happen anymore. I think we did like a 5-hour BSE VIP stream, and I think the AirPod Pro, like one of them died. But yeah, so before we jump into pipeline reveals, I do want to share this real quick. Sorry if you're listening on the audio after, because this is bad. Okay, here we go. So we have...
There you go.
Yep, there it is.
We have in-hand pictures of what was revealed, and we have the Imperial Armed Commando, which looks absolutely amazing on display. The Ahsoka Peridia would have been better with a cloak, but as a figure, it looks like it could be in like a top Black Series figure, like especially the year ever. And there's the picture I was trying to find.
Yep.
IG-12 absolutely towering over Deidre, which is what we want to see. Like Grogu is like the same height as Deidre, and he's in the middle of the chest, which is amazing. So that's really good to see that the scale is looking good here.
His whole head just towers over her. She's shoulder. Yeah. That's the old one would have been the same height as her. So that's That's fantastic.
This is, and like, he's like, you can tell he's much thicker. Like he's not as thin, because the old IG body, the legs just go straight down, and there's like no width at all.
You can't put them side to side or anything. Yeah, you can't put them up.
He's actually has some girth to him, which is really nice. And then there's some packaging shots of the Ahsoka and Imperial, and Commando looks sick in the box. Like that's a pretty clean look. I love these new packages. And there's the new Andor and Deidre. I think that's the last one on Yak, the ones that Yak posted anyways. So just wanted to show those off real quick before we jump into the pipeline reveals now, which like physical reveals were great.
Yep.
But the pipelines,
here we go.
These are some goated pipelines.
Here we go.
So we're gonna do them one by one, because normally we group them all together, but we feel like every one is worth its own discussion topic. So we're starting off with Kel Naka. So I feel like this was a pretty big, figure or character missing from the line. So, and I'm glad they're doing his Jedi robes,
the Brandok,
and not just like the Brandok version, rather than the one where he was on Kofar. Because I was kind of worried they just reuse the older. I mean, they still might reuse it and just put this over it.
Maybe.
And give him a new head.
I don't want a naked Kel Naka. I want a Jedi robe. We've never had a Wookiee in clothes before.
Yep.
So like I want a toy of that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So Kel Naka is a very cool pipeline.
This was number 2 for me. I mean, obviously the Stranger's top right now, but
sure.
Before we even knew we were getting which figures we were getting,
Same.
From the trailer, I want a Wookiee Jedi.
Gotta have a Kel Naka. Yeah.
He was number 1 until I saw Stranger and timing and everything, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that fight. That fight
so
in
good.
episode 7 was nuts.
Yeah. And with that, I want a Torben then too. Like I want Padawan Torben, not old man.
Oh,
Torben.
for sure. Yeah.
Let me recreate that
with
scene.
an alternate cut up face.
Yes, for sure.
And I want this figure, his right hand to be the lightsaber hand, and then his left hand to have the claws coming out of his fingers.
Get that mad claw going on.
Or crazy. I know this is crazy, unheard of for Black Series, but you just give us alt hands, give us alt claw hands. I know that's like some mystical thing.
They wouldn't do that. What are they, Jada toys?
Right? Or TVC. We know in a year when this gets announced for TVC, he's going to have removable Jedi robes, so you can have the Kofar version. You can have the lightsaber, the claws, alt hands, extra paint deco. Like, he'll come with his desk that he was sitting at with all his tools. Like, TVC will get everything, but we'll just get the lightsaber hands and then like a Force hand, I'm sure. But yeah, it is, since this is our only Acolyte pipeline reveal, it is kind of odd. I was 100% certain we were going to get a Stranger, at least pipelined or revealed. Like, It's almost the perfect time to do it, because Acolyte just finished up. They've announced the helmet, the roleplay helmet.
Yep.
It seemed like it would have been the perfect time to do that.
Can I be honest, though? With someone like the Stranger, the way he was in the show, probably like the fan favorite of everybody, I'm glad that they're holding off, because then that to me is hopeful that it'll be super accurate with all of the visuals, the masked head. Like that's what I don't want a Stranger unless it has a Chimere head underneath it. I don't want a Stranger unless he comes with both lightsabers. So that's fine. Develop them another 6-8 months if you have to. Get them accurate, because I want that. I want that.
Right. We need the lightsaber that splits and it gets a shorter dagger.
If they could figure out how to do that, where he comes like an extra smaller one where the bottom like comes out, like that would be awesome.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be sick. Next pipeline, and this goes right along with the Imperial Armored Commando that we had physically revealed, the Dark Trooper version of Moff Gideon, and long overdue. Like, we've needed this in Black Series ever since we saw that episode. Even though Season 3 wasn't my favorite, and I still need to rewatch it, this scene was really cool, and his armor is like top tier. I really love like his look.
Yeah, there were a lot of issues with Season 3. I agree. It's of the 3 seasons, it's the weakest. But I like the people that say that it was a bad season. Like, I don't understand that. There was still a lot of really cool like scenes in there. Even the one where people are like, oh, I don't like Jack Black and Lizzo, but like that's such a small part of that episode. That was probably my favorite episode where they're doing like a whole like cop investigation, like
And
droid investigation.
battle
Like,
with
I,
super
when you
battle
said
droids, yeah.
like, I love
And I'm
it.
not like the yeah.
Doc Brown was in it. Like,
I did like all the super battle droid and beneath the city, like
sure,
and,
yeah,
like
there's like a whole droid like culture. Yeah,
the droid bar or whatever they ran into. I wasn't the biggest fan. Like the Lizzo cameo was fine, but the Jack Black one was a little too on the nose. It was too Jack Black for me.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
But
I just think it's weird to like hate all of it.
Focus on
hyper
that,
focus
yeah.
on it. Yeah.
But this Moff Gideon is long overdue, and I'm picking it up day one for sure.
One of these, and you know what? So I think the next one has made me renumber my order. I might need 3 of the commandos because I need one of these, and then like 2 of the next one, and then 3 commandos.
And that next one is the Praetorian Guard for Moff Gideon.
So cool.
Which, a Mandalorian-like helmet for a Praetorian Guard. This is so sick.
Yeah.
What I'm happy about is they all look the same. So for me, if it's him and he comes with the 3 weapons that they all fought with, I'm getting 3 because to me,
same. Yeah.
I'm looking at it like those are 3 different characters. That's
3 different characters.
Like,
yeah.
With Snoke's, I have.
Heck! Oh, you might have ruined it because there were 3 in there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I might need to get 3 of these, which means I need to get like 5 commandos.
You're gonna have an entire shelf of just Moff Gideons. Yeah, these are pretty cool. Though. This is kind of a surprise. Like I didn't really expect them to pull this out of the hat, but they did. So I'm definitely in on at least one of them. Like the red color for Star Wars figures, like that red pops off the shelf, like Royal Guards, Praetorian Guards. All the red ones, and the Sith Trooper is one of my favorite troopers in the line, and it's a sequel trilogy figure.
Yep.
But the Sith Trooper is so cool, so I know this is going to be right up there as well. And then we have, all right, here we go.
You ready? You gonna be okay?
I'm fine. We have a brand new Anakin Skywalker in the Black Series, but it's not the Anakin, but we're close. We're getting there.
It's an Anakin.
It's an Anakin. It's an Anakin.
Anakin.
We're getting a Clone Wars Ahsoka live action version of Anakin Skywalker, and I'm in day one. Give it to me. I'm going to take him, put him on my shelf, and then I'm going to take that other one and put it on an extra STAP speeder, the old Clone Wars version, to make it a little more
And that's
animated,
exactly why
right?
I need more than 1 STAP. Absolutely.
Yep. And so I'm all for it. I saw this because TVC had this pipelined at May the 4th, I think, or some other live stream. So we're getting it as well, which is cool. But we just need that episode 3 one. But I still love this reveal.
But is this what Yak Face was talking about on our episode with him? Is this the Anakin that you were waiting for?
Don't do that to him.
Is this the Anakin you were waiting for, Zach?
He did tweet about the SHF tease, and he said the new Revenge of the Sith Anakin for Black Series in his tweet. So I think we're still getting an episode 3 version soon. Because he did say multiple across both lines.
All right.
In his Patreon.
I'm just planting the seeds to maybe lessen the blow if that's what ends up happening. Hi, Ken Plume.
I'll turn it around a little bit and be a little more positive. My prediction with this is I don't think they're going to put it on the old Clone Wars body. They might reuse
I don't think so.
Torso.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
The legs are going to be updated because then the legs are exactly the same as the Revenge of the Sith legs.
Yep.
So I totally see them updating it for this, reusing at least the torso and the arms, doing a new, more like live action accurate head, and then just taking those legs and reusing them for the Revenge of the Sith Anakin. Like
Probably.
Easily.
I think you're right.
Give it to me. Give it to me. But yeah, I think it makes the most sense in the world for them to wait on the episode 3 Anakin, because this is gonna. I think this is still gonna be pretty popular, and then episode 3 Anakin for the 20th anniversary is still gonna be great. But my boy Hayden is back in the Black Series on the day that we have Sebastian on the podcast.
Fight!
I'm pretty
Fight!
I'm pretty hyped about this because I was considering getting the Hot Toys version of this for a little bit, and then I decided against it. So I'm definitely hyped for a Black Series version. All right, next up.
Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep the good times rolling.
Keep the good times rolling. We have Phase 1 Captain Rex, which
so weird.
It's
so
from
weird the Ahsoka appearance where he's like just in the background.
Yeah, but for some reason they
used a Clone Wars.
They would have had to zoom in, on that, and it would have been weird. But
yeah, it was. I mean, he is literally Phase 1 Rex is in Ahsoka, but he's in the background behind people while they're talking. Like, it's one of those things where I was squinting. I'm like, is that Rex back there? Is that Rex back there? I can't really tell if that's Rex back there or not.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if it was when they fast forwarded and he was in his Phase 2 gear, but didn't he yell at Ahsoka like, "Come on"?
That was Phase 2. That was Phase 2. That was when he was because that was when they were on Mandalore. But the first one was when they were on I think Ryloth.
And now here's the question: Phase 1, even if they would have redone Phase 2, is his helmet going to be removable?
I hope so.
Technically, he doesn't take it off in Ahsoka, so
I mean, I hope so.
I mean, I don't care. New body, that's what I'm hoping for. New clone body, that's what we need to do.
Yeah, if this isn't on 3.0, and this has to be on 3.0. It wouldn't make any sense at this point.
No.
Like the other one, which one did they reveal? Like the one with Mace Windu. Like that one, I get 187 not being on 3.0. Yeah, like if since it's probably a little close to the 3.0 like time period if they made it a while ago. But if they're
that was kind of during a transition period.
Yeah, but like now you have to do 3.0 going forward. Like even Beal's Toy Store has to do 3.0 going forward. That's the new standard for sure. But I
agree,
1,
Ken Plume.
I'm in on this one.
The lack of Carson Teva figure in either line is ridiculous. I'd love to have Paul on the podcast to talk about it. Just throwing that out there.
Well, I think we've thrown it out there a bunch, and it has yet to happen. But maybe he will one day. But I'm assuming both of you all are in on the Phase 1 Rex. For
sure,
yeah,
right? 100%. I'm in on everything they've shown today. There's nothing I'm not in on.
Keep that holocom shit out, and I'm fine.
Okay, yeah, exactly. That was the thing is there wasn't any of that today. Like everything they showed us today was like a new figure, a new character to add on my shelf, and that's what has me in on everything. If the line from now to the rest of the time was just that, I'd be in 100%. I would be a completionist.
Yeah, exactly. And then we got Star Wars Episode 3 Commander Bakara revealed. But he was leaked a little while ago on that Chinese website. You could see the strap and the shoulder armor on the 3.0 clone body.
I forgot about that reveal, but you're right. That was
there. Yak Face teased it a couple days ago, I think. So it wasn't a big surprise, but it was cool to see them officially acknowledge it is
correct.
Coming.
Yep. And like they said on the stream, like they got Ki-Adi-Mundi, so you have to get his commander. Like.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was worried they were going to lock this behind like a 2-pack where they were going to repack Ki-Adi. So I'm thrilled. Yeah, he's a general.
If they could clones of the Republic or something, yeah.
He's a one and done. Don't put him in a troop builder pack. He's a general. Just give us the general and that's it by himself.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped for this one. Any prequel film clone, especially from Episode 3, I want them all. Like. I need every single one of them. And then, so we have 2 more. This one is hype. I feel like it's been a little underrated in the community.
It's so weird. This one for me is like the one I care about the least. I'm still excited about it. Don't get me wrong.
This one's so good. This
compared to all the other ones, I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I feel like the commando droid. I've been wanting a commando droid in the
Yeah.
line for so long. Like they're
I
also
get it.
in Battlefront, so I think that's why,
Yeah.
because you can play him in the Battlefront game.
No. I'll tell you exactly why we're getting this. Because of the character in Star Wars Outlaws.
Yep.
Oh,
Because
I
they're
didn't
gonna-
even think about that.
They're gonna make him, and they're gonna put the duster on him. Oops.
Yeah, the little soft
So
goods
and
thing.
the fact that he's in that game is why we're getting this. I guarantee you.
Oh
And
yeah, that it's an
I'm-
instant 2 molds. You know,
I'm
two
willing to
release.
bet they're going to do similar to what they did with the Amazon pack with the Jedi Survivor. They're going to put this in a 2-pack with a Droideka, and they're going to complete out the whole Bedlam Raider painting.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for
That'd
sure.
be cool.
As soon as this popped
I mean,
up,
yeah.
that's not the only one we're getting.
I'm in on all of these. They want to do different repaints or whatever. Like I don't want to say I'm not excited for this. I just think when you compare it to all the other things
I
they
get that.
showed off, like this is the thing that you have to be least excited about something, you know? But I'm definitely gonna get it. And whatever they repaint it to.
Yep.
The one I am the least excited about is actually the one that we have next, and that is
That checks out for you. I get
Prince
it.
Caesar. I mean, because I never played the game or read the comic, whatever this is from.
Book.
I don't even know if it's
Well,
a
it's
game
everything.
or a comic. It's a
No,
book,
so
whatever.
So hold on. Let's take a trip back to 1996, okay? Star Wars had been dead forever. There were just books and some video games, but like no one cared about it. And they wanted to start ramping up for the prequels that were coming out in a couple years, and also ramping up for the special editions that were coming out. So they were like, what can we do? We've got this book coming out. It takes place in the original trilogy between 2 movies to tell the story of what happens in the 1 year between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And they made it a whole multimedia event. It had a soundtrack. It was a
Oh,
book
wow.
with a soundtrack. Like, there were games, there were action figures. Like, it had everything but a movie. But they treated it like they would have any other Star Wars movie at the time. Everything was Shadows of the Empire, Shadows of the Empire, Shadows of the Empire, Shadows of the Empire. It was this whole thing.
So
They
it's
did-
everything. It's a book. It's a game. It's a comic.
Yeah.
And
It's a,
they did the subline of the action figures too.
Yes.
The specific Shadows of the Empire packaging. They did that with the vehicles. It was
Correct.
Dash Outrider.
Yep.
The
The swoop bike. The
swoop
yeah.
bikes. You know, it was a big deal.
Yeah, you got Chewbacca as Snuva, Luke
Yeah.
Skywalker in his Imperial. And if they do a 6-inch version of that Luke Skywalker in the Imperial thing, or Snuva, any of those, honestly, I would be 1000% in on any of them because those action figures and those designs were rad.
I said another thing they could do is they did the 2-packs. They did one of Boba Fett and IG-88.
Yes, true. And Darth Vader versus Shizor.
Yep. You got the mold for IG-88 now with the new
Yep.
IG-12. You've
Yep.
got the new Return of the Jedi Boba. Give us the
Yep.
Empire Strikes Back one we're looking for. And
Yep.
then put them
Absolutely.
together. Put it in the same kind of packaging too.
Yep. Where they're fighting each other.
Yeah. Yep.
oh, I'm tired of talking about Prince
Oh
Caesar.
man, come on. Oh man, you had a sexy robot assassin. Prince Shizor had I don't know how to say this. Harvey Weinstein power, Bill Cosby powers,
Oh my god!
if that makes sense.
And they're making this character. They're gonna cancel. They're gonna cancel the Black Series now.
That was like his thing, is he had pheromones.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. This character is kind of creepy to me now. But obviously, I'm not in on the figure. But I'm glad there's a lot of fans of that time period. So I'm glad they're finally getting this. See, I'm happy for people getting stuff I don't even want. Like I just want the Black Series line as a whole to succeed and the community to be happy. Even if I don't necessarily care about what's being released.
I wonder if they're gonna give him his fans, because the toy had like these weird like fans that like would clip together and it would like turn into a shield, but then you could like pull them apart and they were like those little like dancer fans. It's true, Pleth, though. Villains do bad stuff, and so it's okay when a villain does a bad thing.
Maybe this might be a good pickup just to have another evil-looking guy on the shelf. Like
Yeah.
maybe I'll grab him. You
He's
never know.
also the leader of Black Sun, or he was during this time.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
like that's
He was featured, or one of his species was featured in
in Clone Wars. Yeah,
when Darth Maul was talking to all the syndicate.
they're the Falleen is the name of the species.
Super Battle Droid already has Figure of the Year on lock, Ken. This will not be. Maybe next year.
It's not coming out this year. It'll come out next year.
Yeah.
So
Next
we'll
year.
see.
Probably,
It might be Figure of the Year 2025.
It might be 2026 because of the Kiadi Mundi situation. You never know how long these things are
True.
going to take.
It's true.
Because some pipelines would get revealed like a month later, and then it's shipped in the U.S. 2 months after that. And then some pipelines, it's like, can we see your reveal? It's been a year and a half. Like, what is going on?
Didn't Yakface post that the IG-12 was hitting
Arriving in the US,
ports?
yeah.
And heck, the Halloween 2-pack, like we announced that 2 episodes ago, and I have it now. Like last episode. Like it was not a long time ago, basically. It was like less than a month from when
It's like
it was announced to when I have it.
it's one of those rare figures that popped up like just in stock, and it was announced in stock,
Yeah.
and like some people got it like
Yeah.
right away, and then some people had to wait like a week.
Yeah.
But so yeah, those are all the pipelines. Some great reveals. Kel Naka, the Dark Trooper, Anakin obviously is a standout for me, and the Bakara,
Yeah.
and the Commando droid.
I don't know
So-
if I could choose a favorite. I know I said the Commando droid is my least favorite, but I don't know if I could choose a favorite out of all these.
It's hard. The
It's
Bakara
hard.
is so good, but I don't
Yeah.
want to be put in the cloner column. So I do gotta say Anakin. The Anakin's definitely my favorite.
That's a good. I mean, it could be that Prince Shizor shows up in Outlaws Master Comstar.
Ooh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. That's coming out in like 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks.
Yeah. I think shelf presence wise, the first 2 are going to look really, really cool. On
I
display.
agree. Well, so
Honestly, the first 3 really, that red Praetorian Guard.
Yeah, I think Moff Gideon. If I had to choose one, it would be Moff Gideon because like I'm building out a whole display based on him. Like I need him. I need 3 of the Praetorians. I need like 5 of the Commandos. Because like I just like even though like his death kind of was lame or whatever, like he looks cool. He looked awesome.
Mm-hmm. My only issue with this Anakin, though, is I feel like he's not going to match the aesthetic of the Clone Wars shelf at all. Because he's going to be with that Obi-Wan, since it's going to be his live-action
Sure.
look.
Well, you
And
gotta put him with just put him with Ahsoka.
Yeah, I guess we are getting that live-action Ahsoka,
Yeah.
too. So,
Have him fight.
true. I don't know if you updated your pipeline spreadsheet, Mike, but could we do
Sure.
a pipeline update? If you could delete those.
Oh, I
ones
got
that
it
were
all.
revealed
I
and-
updated it in real time as things were being announced. By the way, we're up to 75 officially figures that have either been announced or have been released this year. At least on mine. Some people might have more because they count the 4 Book of Boba Fett figures that I got last year. So I put that on last year's. But for Pipeline, we still have we've knocked out everything up to the May 4th reveal. So for May 4th, we still have A New Hope, Luke and Leia, and then Dagon from Jedi Survivor, which I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And then the rest is from today. So Kelnaka, Moff Gideon, Praetorian Guard, Anakin Skywalker. I said Anna King. Oh, you know what? Let's just call him Anna King from now on.
Anna King. That's it. Anna King.
Anna King.
He is him.
Anna King Skywalker. Yeah, so
Delivered by the Pope himself.
that's right. So yeah, everything else is from today, but the only things we're missing now is the 3 from May 4th, Luke, Leia, and Dagon.
Nice. Not bad. So how many is that total? How many pipelines do we have total right now?
8 plus to 11.
11. All right. And I'm in on 10 of them, probably. It's a lot of figures coming soon, which is great.
Oh my God! I'm sorry. Dan just texted me. They're doing a Knight Rider Transformers crossover, so I have to go.
You cannot leave the podcast. We have a lot to talk about.
They're doing a Knight Rider Transformers crossover, Zachary.
But you're in the middle of a Black Series Cantina SDCC podcast. This is way more important.
Fine.
All right, so now that all of those are in the rearview mirror, some great reveals, some absolutely amazing pipeline figures. I'm pretty excited about all of them, or most of them. It is discussion time, and every episode we have to put a figure into the Hall of Fame. And last episode we did the 2020 Stormtrooper, which I forgot to post, so I'll be posting both of them soon. It's been a busy time.
I have a nomination.
What's your nomination?
And I have them sitting right here.
Okay, lay it on me.
I was ready for this. This guy.
Count Dooku.
This guy right here.
That's an amazing one. I mean, I'm down.
That's a really good nomination.
We've brought him up once or twice so far. He's
have.
an absolutely amazing Black Series figure.
That is one of those figures that, even though it came out 5 years ago now, it's been
2019.
Been a while.
I mean, the Christopher.
No,
Lee
2020.
Was it a 20? Oh yeah, it was right.
It was 2020. Yeah.
Switched over, but the likeness on it, he's got the butterfly joints. The colors are good. The cape is one of the best soft goods I think they've done in the line because it sits fine. He got the swooshy blade. Good. I mean, the swooshy blade.
Yeah, he's got the alternate blade. He's got a great I think, you know what, and he meets the criteria of having been out for over a year. I'm on board. I'm on board. I'm on board. It's the first time we've had a guest to choose, and the only just to throw it out there. I mean, we've had the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett and the Clone Wars Obi-Wan on deck for a long time, and I feel like they keep. It's like when a dad tells his kid, like, "I'll take you fishing," and then they just don't.
Week.
Like
next
we'll have to do it next week. Or yeah. So it's like we keep pushing them aside when something else comes up. And the goal for this list is for someone to look at this list and be like, these are definitive figures that no matter how much time has passed, like if you buy this, you're getting a banger.
Yep. Like even if they do an updated, better one, because I'm sure they'll eventually in 5 years. I mean, we literally just got a brand new clone body. Like they could reveal an even better Stormtrooper body, but the 2020 Stormtrooper body is still a Hall of Fame Black Series figure. Like you're still getting an amazing figure. And Count Dooku, that's one of the best likenesses in the entire line.
Yep.
And so I'm down. I'm down for that being in the Hall of Fame.
I'll allow it.
When that yak rumor came out of, we might be getting a new Count Dooku, I thought to myself, I'm like, what could they possibly update about it if it's the exact same one that we got already? It's going to be a repack because there's no bettering that figure. I mean,
the only thing they could do to make it better would be to make the chain either silver or actual chain. Yep. Like that's my one and really only complaint about it is the chain right here. But I feel like it's a minor nitpick, really.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, I think that's it.
Yeah, it's settled. That's number 8. So that's number 8. Black Series Cantina Hall of Fame. Count Dooku. Look, I appreciate that our guest came prepared.
He is already Dagobah Luke is already in the Hall of Fame. Do you want to update? Give us all the Hall of Famers.
Oh, you're throwing me on the spot right now. Yes, I can.
Well, you're tracking this, buddy. This is
we have. Number 1, the inaugural figure was Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader. Number 2 was the Gamorrean Guard. Number 3 was the Scout Trooper and Speeder Bike, the blue pack, or the blue box, the original one. Number 4 was Greedo. Number 5 was the Luke and Dagobah, or Luke and Yoda from Dagobah. That was just mentioned in our chat as a possibility, so that's already been done. That's number 5. Number 6 was Fennec Shand. Number 7 was last episode, and that was the 2020 Stormtrooper. And now number 8 is Count Dooku. So, Sebastian, thank you for coming prepared on the Hall of Fame nomination. And you showed up with a banger. You showed up with an absolute
Yep. I was prepared to shoot it down, but like, no, listen, buddy, we got things to do here. We got order to things. But no, you actually came with a really good.
Like, he was well
option.
studied.
Yeah.
Sebastian knew the rules. It had to be out for longer than a year. Like, no SPD yet, no Droidica yet. You know, something that's...
Yeah, we want to just give him time to rest. Like, it's
in.
easy when you get a new figure that's good to be like, oh, this is the best. But you got to give it time. You got to let it sit. You got to let it settle.
Yeah. And also, like, if we like, got this Darth Sidious and like, all right, we're putting Darth Sidious in right now, it'd be hard to get to those older ones.
Yeah.
Because we'd be constantly putting in, shuffling in these new figures. So.
And I spent a lot of time thinking about it, and I'm like, no, I'm definitely going to mention it on the pod. So, like, my fear was I was going to bring it up, give all my things, and then you were just going to be like, no, put it down, shut up.
Obi-Wan. Clone Wars Obi-Wan.
Clone Wars Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Finally. One day, Clone Wars Obi-Wan. One day you'll be on the list. I promise.
And I feel like people are going to look at it and be like, because I have to tell people it's not a top 10. It's just...
No, it's not a top 10.
It's not in order at all, but these are just all great figures.
It's just how we're feeling in the week. Like, what's talking to us.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so now that Hall of Fame is behind us, we can discuss the Acolyte. So, full Acolyte spoilers.
You mean the Hackolite?
The Hackolite. The Wokalite, the Zacolite, the finale of the Acolyte, and the overall show Acolyte. Sure. We can just discuss everything, finale included. So, so full spoilers. Chat if you're watching. Audio people listening after this, pause it now if you haven't seen it, or if you want to watch it. But if not, then go ahead. So, Sebastian, overall thoughts on Acolyte before we jump into the finale specifically.
I said it earlier, out of all the Disney Plus shows, it's definitely at the bottom. I didn't hate it. I stayed away from all the negativity, especially like before it even came out, where all of these people were calling it, or we even like 60 seconds of a trailer and you're already calling it terrible. Overall, it had, like a lot of them, its ups and downs. It had some really great episodes, and then just some episodes that it's like, I don't know if it's one of those shows that I'm going to really sit down and say, hey, I want to watch this all start to finish again. I might pop in like episode 5 for sure. I will want to watch again. Episode 7, I'm going to want to watch again. Possibly the finale, parts of that. It wasn't a bad series. I felt like some of it was rushed. Mm-hmm. And like, especially with the finale, like the whole Osha going to the dark side, but then May kind of leaning away from the dark side.
Kind of flipped.
Explanation there, like they just flipped, and so I mean, it felt rushed. And if there is a season 2, I will give it the same chance, and I hope that it does a little bit better with the fandom than season 1 did. But I didn't hate it. I haven't hated any Star Wars that they've put out. It's just I sit back and I say I've liked this less than other things.
Well, I feel like the majority of the fandom kind of feels, because I have a very similar feeling, and I think Zach does too. Like, it's not my favorite Star Wars, but there's stuff in there that I do like. And I feel like most fans actually feel that way, and it's a very vocal minority that hates it, to the point where, and you can't deny, they did review bomb it. They went into the show making up their mind to hate this, and then they hate watched the episodes with a fine-tooth hate comb to find things to not like about it, without trying to figure out maybe why they didn't like it, or what could be an explanation for it. They just like fire in space. I hate it. But the problem there is, like, what about all the other times in Star Wars where there's fire in space? Do you hate that as well? You're like, so there's just so many things like that where people just decided, they made the choice to hate it, and they looked for reasons to justify that choice. Where in reality, is it great? I mean, some people might think so, but I think there are great parts to it. I would give it probably like a 7 out of 10. Personally, I think there was enough in there. Just being Star Wars by itself, for me, gave it a 5. I don't think it would have to be very, very bad for me to give anything Star Wars less than like a half score, just because I love Star Wars so much. I love the world, and if it nails being in the world of Star Wars, like that's the minimum score it can get. And there was enough in there with like the stranger fight, the characters of like Jekki and Yord and Soul specifically, even Indara, because I hated Indara until episode 7, where you're like, okay, now I kind of like Indara. That the finale I thought was fantastic, and we haven't talked about specifically, so I'll save it, but it has one of my top 5 scenes in all of Star Wars in it, in the finale. All of Star Wars, movies or anything. So, like, there was enough in there. If there's a season 2, I'm on board. I'll watch it from day one. I think the problems really are they tried to cram too much into too little time. They really should have had either longer episodes or more episodes and let things sit, flesh them out, so it didn't feel like certain characters' choices were changing on a dime. I mean, you can headcanon and tell yourself why certain characters, at the beginning of the episode they're this way, and at the end of the episode they're like the opposite, and you can kind of explain to yourself why, but like it wasn't a good journey to do that. You're having to fill in a lot of holes yourself versus the story filling in the holes, I guess.
Yep, I think, and it's kind of piggybacks right off that. I think the series might have been better because I don't think the flashback, especially the most recent flashback we got, was satisfying enough for it to be the penultimate episode. So I feel like this story might have been better if we got the backstory just the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And then maybe just told
No,
the
I don't
rest
agree
of
with
the
that.
story.
I don't agree with that, because they wanted to have that story method of telling the story where they drip feed you revelations. And I get that. Like, I mean, it wasn't executed well, but front loading all of it ruins it.
I mean, I get that, but I just feel like the payoff didn't work.
It wasn't
for me
big enough.
that well.
Well, and I think part of that is
like
just
maybe
not
just
having
have
enough time with the characters.
Maybe just have like this crazy first episode with all this stuff that the flashback was, and then the rest of the series is the ramifications of that. Like all these years later, like Chimera popping up.
Maybe start the series off with that flashback episode. Make it just the beginning, the first one, the episode 3, where you see everything from the Sith, and you start, maybe if you start it with like, what are the Jedi bad guys? What's going on? And then episode 2 could be episode 1, and then episode 7 could have those
something
reveals
like that.
Or whatever, something or
like that.
maybe move it to like episode 6. I don't know.
One thing that I was thinking about was it was revolving around this whole mystery. The payoff should have been Soul being the one who killed Mother Anastasia should have been a shock to us, just like it was to Osha. Like, we shouldn't have seen that in the flashback. I think it would have paid off a lot more.
I agree with that.
Like, they was like, Osha confronts him, and she's just, hounding him. Tell her. And he finally says, I killed your mother. And then all of a sudden, that would have, to me, made me connect with Osha a little bit, because it would have been this immediate, okay, I see where her anger is coming from, because I don't know what his justification was for killing her.
Yeah.
In the flashback, she turned into like this black demon-y spirit thing.
Yeah.
I think all of
who wouldn't want to kill that?
Exactly. Yeah. She had spiky teeth. She had spiky teeth.
On top of that, whatever she was doing was affecting May. Whether she was going to transport her away, we don't know what was happening because it never got far enough. But whatever she was doing was also affecting May, and he wanted to stop that. And like scary Sith shit. Like who?
Well, also, like,
who knows?
When Soul and Indara are interviewing Osha on the ship, they're like, what is she planning on doing? And she's like, I forget the exact word she uses, but she's like, they've mentioned a sacrifice, so it's like Soul's thinking they're gonna kill these little kids.
Of course. Yeah.
10 out of 10 times you're stabbing Mother Anastasia when she does that. If you already have it in your mind that they're gonna sacrifice these kids.
Yeah.
One theory that I saw was, now that we know that they were created from one person, which I think that the ascension was actually that they weren't necessarily going to sacrifice one of them, that it was like they were going to fuse them back together into this one person.
Well, they weren't even going to sacrifice him. What what Mother said. She took out. She didn't understand what it meant, or she was saying it wrong. Like sacrificing in the sense like of giving up what they want or something like that. They weren't actually going to like physically sacrifice the girls.
But like in Soul's head, that's still a good justification.
That's what you hear
for doing it.
Yeah, it's a kid like not really understanding and
what's going to happen.
Misexplaining what's happening.
Yeah,
but so let's talk.
The action scenes were
top tier. Yeah, they're
100%. So, I was skeptical because they said, we want to make action that kind of rivals the prequels, and I was skeptical, and I think they did it. Maybe even better. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the prequels was more kind of flashy ninja moves.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Whereas
it's like a spectacle, rather than like a real life type.
Yeah,
fight,
whereas this felt more. I don't know. I don't want to say real, but like
the
felt more
line with Kymir's fight when he killed him, just straight up ruthless. Like that's what it
ruthless.
was. His emotion was 100% ruthless. I'm going to slaughter every single one of you, and I know I'm going to do it because I'm better than all of you. And you could see that play on the screen. Like with the prequel ones, it was we kind of already knew the outcomes because of the original trilogy coming out. Like the fight with Obi-Wan and Anakin is one of the best lightsaber duels out there, but we know Anakin's not walking away from that in one piece. With this one, we're kind of sitting there and saying, okay, it's one Sith, because we didn't know it was a Sith at the time, taking on like 10 Jedi. Who's going to come out? Are they going to defeat him this early on in the show? And then it just cuts into episode 5, and you're like, he's mowing them down.
He's just
and like you mentioned, ruthless. Like the prequels felt like a dance almost when they were fighting.
Yes.
Like half the time they're fighting, they don't actually feel like. I don't think Count Dooku wanted to kill Anakin and Obi-Wan at all.
He didn't. No, he didn't.
He didn't want to kill him at all.
He didn't want to kill him. No.
And then you have even the Anakin and Obi-Wan fight, like the emotion is there, and you can see the anger in Anakin. But Obi-Wan didn't want to kill him, and Anakin
same.
He can say he wanted to kill him, but when you're standing there swinging a lightsaber for 5 seconds,
they're
doing nothing. There
was a good 5 seconds where they were just twirling it around each other, not hitting it,
and they're like 2 feet from each other. It's like the most ridiculous thing of all time.
Yeah.
But this actually felt like you have a character, like his intention is to kill. And he kills, with no hesitation.
We saw a couple things that people have always talked about in Star Wars: throwing lightsabers, and then also doing the move where they turn the lightsaber off and back on. Like those are moves you do when you're like serious about stuff. You're not just playing around.
With like the duels from the original trilogy, they weren't flashy, they weren't great, but there were emotions in them. You look at
especially in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, and Return of like with the Bespin duel, Darth Vader fought Luke with one hand because he's like, "You're not gonna beat me," and you could sense that Luke was in over his head. And then
100%,
Luke's hacking away at him with his anger. That you don't need the flashy jumps and flips and spinning and everything like that, because that's what makes those great duels. And not that, again, I'm not saying the Acolyte one was better than the prequel ones. To me, it felt more original trilogy because, like you said, you could sense the emotion. You could sense I'm here to kill people, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I don't need to.
It was like a perfect mix of like the actual like realistic fighting and the sort of prequel dance where there's a lot of flashy stuff going on, but it has like what they tried to do with the sequels. They wanted it to be like heavy, like very heavy-handed lightsaber combat rather than this jumping and flips. Yeah, and I feel like it was like almost a perfect mix of fights. And like the Empire one is really good because Vader, he's fighting with one hand, and then when Luke, what's people don't think it's only in new media, when Luke baseball bats his lightsaber on Vader's shoulder and it just bounces off like lightsabers.
He gets him.
And then that's when Vader grabs with 2 hands and it's over within 5 seconds. That's like one.
That's what made Vader take it seriously. Like people don't understand this. At no point in that fight was Luke going to win. Vader was toying with him and playing with him the entire time because he didn't want to kill Luke. He wanted to turn Luke, and that's a big difference. He did not want to kill Luke. He wanted to turn him. So that's what stopped him from taking it seriously. And as soon as he got that one hit off, he ended the fight. As soon as he did, he took Luke's hand. And the same, I mean, we can make it about the sequels. It's kind of the same thing. Like at no point was like Kylo going to kill Rey for the same reasons. It's all about intent. Like whenever there's a lightsaber fight, like the goal isn't necessarily to kill the other person. That's just what you're using to fight.
You could even see it in Force Awakens, how much more direct he was with his attacks when Finn had the saber.
Yeah.
But then knowing that Rey has these force powers, you can see he backed off a little bit, and it wasn't about like those strong, heavy-handed attacks that he. I mean, you can see it when you really.
Well, and the same thing happened as soon as Finn got one lucky hit on Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren ended the fight.
Yep.
And this is also a good point, Ken. Like the prequel era Jedi. Well, and this is true for the Acolyte as well. Like these Jedis. That's why what Yord said, he doesn't play by the rules, because he's used to sparring with people where they have their forms, and like they hadn't had any real world experience of fighting. They've only been doing spars or fighting against remotes or ceremonial this and that. Whereas like this is probably all of their first like real lightsaber fight.
Yeah. And then I mean we see it because, Jackie gets, 3-pieced right in the middle of the Force there. And Yord gets his
much that I was watching that
on Fine Editions. I forgot to have my Yord accurate. It's actually like this. It's exactly the screen accurate Yord.
Yeah, no. When that happened, I literally said out loud, I went, "Oh shit!" Because like you never.
I did too. I did too.
You've seen Jedi get stabbed before, like Maul stabs Qui-Gon, but he was making a point with that one. He would have been good with one.
He didn't even double tap her. He triple tapped her.
I thought.
Like the line after that, she was a child. Well, you brought her here. Like that was
hard. That was such a good line. He's such a good line.
He's such a good character. He's character.
Yeah, Chimere's good, and I forgot what I was going to say. So whenever he snapped Yord's neck, I legit like out loud, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I don't think there's very few Star Wars moments, especially like modern media, that have made me verbally say something out loud, and that was one of them. The next snap was, and then I thought Jackie was gonna live after the first stab because we've seen it so many times now.
Yeah.
And then we get the other two, and it's like nope, gone. Like that was crazy.
And that's why
the fact
the word ruthless just summed him up the way.
For sure.
Her neck, stabbing her 3 times, stabbing one Jedi, and then force pulling another one into that Jedi while you're already stabbing just the stuff that he was doing. It was so unconventional, even for a Sith. Like we haven't seen any dark side user on screen do stuff like that.
Yeah, especially like the physical snapping in the neck is crazy. I did really like.
Well, can we talk about the finale? We haven't talked about the finale. We've
been
talking about the series as a whole.
Yeah. All right. Finale talk. So I think it happened in the finale because that's when Osha like fully turns. But somebody says something to her like why she's going with Kamir or whatever, and she says because he's fair. And I was like, didn't he just like we just talked about it? You witnessed him 3-piece Jackie and snap Yord's neck, but you're saying he's fair?
But he did it in a fair way. He did it fair and square.
Her mind is twisted at this point, and Sith. Obviously, when your mind is twisted by the dark side, you're not thinking as you're not thinking as clearly, I guess, as you would as a Jedi with the right.
Well, I mean, let's look at Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. The guy goes from, I want to save my wife. We have to, be a good Jedi. To I'm gonna literally in the span of 5 minutes. Went from, okay, I helped kill Mace Windu, now I'm going to go murder a bunch of children. There was no time in between that. He just was like, yeah, okay, cool, let's kill some kids. So, I just feel like, yes, Osha, I mean, I understood Osha's turn. I understood it more than I would even say I understood Anakin's, just based on that. Obviously, they've fleshed Anakin out more and whatnot in ancillary media, but from this, getting that news that Soul killed her mom and that everything that she basically was raised to believe about the Jedi, and specifically Soul, who was basically a father to her, was a lie. And like he was the reason like all of this had happened to her. And so she killed him, and like the bleeding of the lightsaber, hands down one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars. All of it.
Yeah,
I just
I
loved
didn't-
it so much.
I didn't get why people were upset about that because sure, like people were like, oh, why didn't Anakin's turn red in Revenge of the Sith? But I feel like the finale explicitly showed the crystal being exposed after the saber broke.
Yeah.
So it was her hand directly contacting the
Yeah,
crystal.
they went out of their way to show that.
Yeah,
But-
so it's like
Yeah.
it's like
The other
duh.
part of it, the way with the new lore where it works when you're bleeding a crystal, the
Yeah.
person has to pour their
Yeah.
anger channeled directly into the crystal. So if you're
Right.
touching it, your anger is going to be channeled into that. In
Right.
Jedi Survivor, when Dagon deconstructs his lightsaber, he's
Yeah.
taking all those memories of the Jedi when 200 years ago or whatever, and he's
Yeah.
channeling all of that anger to bleed the crystal.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. It's not
It's the same thing, yeah.
Anakin wasn't channeling his anger into his lightsaber. Anakin was channeling his anger to say, "I'm going to kill all of the Jedi." And
Right.
I think they talked about that then after he becomes Darth Vader. Like he loses his saber, he finds some random Jedi's lightsaber, and then that's
Yes.
when he bleeds the crystal.
And he has a hard time bleeding it too.
He does.
Yeah.
So,
But
I
there's
mean,
a lot of reasons for that. Like obviously, so you don't have. It's not about the physical touch so much because like obviously Anakin doesn't have hands. Like he doesn't have physical hands.
Yeah.
But it's more about like the intent of doing it. And I think Osha holding a raw crystal while having those raw feelings in the moment was the main difference between what like Dagon or Anakin were doing, and those are the only canon crystal bleedings I think that we've seen so
on
far
screen or like
Yeah.
a video game. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love the emotion was so raw. Soul was 100% like. First of all, I love Soul. I love him as a character, but he is a terrible Jedi, just an absolutely terrible Jedi in terms of what a Jedi is supposed to be. Like he had an attachment. He was about to just straight up tell Osha that he loved her. Like that's you're not supposed to do any of that as a Jedi, and I think that makes him more interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought Soul was probably like him and Chimere are the two best characters in the show. for
Sure,
me.
easily.
Like Soul is very. He's not perfect. He's far from perfect
Nope.
as a Jedi. The only
Yep,
thing I
he's
didn't
flawed.
like, I didn't necessarily like him telling Osha it was okay for her to kill him because he's essentially saying, like, because that's the moment she's officially on the dark side. So he's essentially
Yeah.
saying it's okay for you to go down this path. And as a Jedi, that's the worst thing you can do is become a Sith.
Yep.
So I feel like that was a little weird, but it shows that he's not necessarily like fully on board with like
Yeah.
maybe even like the Jedi. So, and that's kind of why he didn't want to tell the council about everything that went down because maybe he doesn't agree with their views. I mean, you have that many people in a faction, you're not going to have people. You're going to have people that don't agree. So,
And what I liked about him, like along those lines, was the fact of like, there was more of that trade-off again with him saying like, oh, Osha, I love you. It was you were watching like almost like a father trying to say, I was doing what's best for you. You might not see
Yeah.
it now, but in the long run, I was
Yep.
trying what I thought was right. And it's like one of those. It's like a rebellious kid saying, "No, you
Yeah.
didn't," but she was able to act on it, and that was kind of cool seeing that too. Like he was 100%. I did this to save you, to protect.
Well, he
you.
had the best intentions.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
but that's like the classic parent kid thing is
Yeah.
like kid goes and does something wrong, parent punishes them for it. I'm doing this for your own good. You'll thank me later. But it was just she didn't see it that way.
I don't know, man. There's a bunch of times my parents punished me as a kid. Now, as an adult, all I can think of is my
Yeah.
parents wouldn't let me do this as a kid because they thought it was evil. They thought it was dangerous. Like, like there's certain levels of like, you don't. It's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough because you do just want the best for your kids.
My uncle
I
stole my
get it.
bike one time. I was like 6, 7 years old, and
Did
my
you
uncle
did you
stole my
leave it
bike.
unlocked? Was he trying to teach you a lesson?
No, so quick story, on Star Wars. He used to make me and my sister pick weeds out of his driveway, like all the time. He lived right down the street, literally 8 houses down, probably on that road we lived on. And it was a hot summer day, and me and my sister were not having it that day. I guess we just wanted to chill at home. It's like summer vacation, summer not at school, picking weeds and shit. Well, we didn't do it one time he needed it, and he literally came over and took my bike, and then my dad went over and I think my dad actually punched him and took my bike back, which was cool. But
Nuts. What a
so
crazy
some parents,
story.
some people, they punish kids in weird ways. But that side story's over.
Thank you
but,
for that side story.
But about getting back to Acolyte now, one important thing in the finale for me was Soul admitting or standing his ground and saying he did the right thing. And I think he said that two different times. I haven't rewatched the finale yet. He said, I did the right thing. And that was important for me because I didn't feel like he had that much of a reason to carry all that burden. So the fact that he knows or knew that he was right and justified for doing what he did, like that that was important for me because that was a big question for me and a concern I had following episode 7.
Yep. So the big problem for a lot of people is they think that what happened that night wasn't enough to justify everyone's kind of reactions to it. So
yeah, I still don't understand Torben offing himself. That's still
let's talk about it. Let's start with Torben. So Torben's problem that night, and it kind of goes back because you can't just look at that night like, oh, he just didn't want to be there. Like he had been there for I think he said 7 weeks, so that's like 2 months. He's obviously kind of like an impatient young person who idealizes like either comfort or just doing something better than being on a planet doing boring research.
I feel like he wants to be a Jedi, but it's kind of like whenever you graduate college and you get your degree and what you want to be. Like you want to be an accountant, but you don't want to do all the things that come along with being an accountant, like spending 11 hours looking at numbers and taxes all day. Yeah. He wants to be a Jedi, but doesn't want to do the mundane stuff of being a Jedi. He just wants the lifestyle of being a Jedi.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so that's kind of what my thought about Torben, especially as like a teenager or what he was 15, 16, however old he was.
Well, and that's the thing is he's like a 15-year-old, and I think he basically blames himself for that whole night happening, because if he didn't immediately jump on a bike and go, I'm getting off of this planet. We need to go save those girls so that we can. It'll give us a reason to go, basically, and that happening is kind of what puts everything into motion for what happens the rest of the night. And Sebastian was just like, I'm done with this conversation. He's out. And
what if we?
No, I think he disconnected. He disconnected.
Oh, we lost him for a minute. All right, so he'll have to.
Yeah. He'll come back. But so I think like I get it if he spent 16 years essentially like blaming himself because because of that Kilnaka has basically isolated himself because of the whole Mad Claw thing. And that's why Kilnaka is often his own little world because of that, because he's ashamed of what he did.
I just wish that was explained in the show.
I agree. And that's the thing. That's what I was saying about the problem with the show is not enough information, not enough episodes, not enough time with the characters. I think if they could have, if we could have had more time with these people in these situations and gotten more information, because you can read into it, you can fill in the blanks yourself if you sit there and think about, okay, why would this person be doing this? Why would Torben kill himself? Because he blames himself for what happened with Kilnaka. He blames himself for what happened that whole night. Like, he blames himself for and he was also, let's be honest, he's he was basically assaulted. Like they took over his mind. Well, it wasn't just that. It was
the
before
witches,
that.
yeah,
The witches took over his mind, which, you know, that probably didn't feel great afterwards, being this Jedi and having his mind taken over by a witch. Like, there's a lot of reasons why Torben. Welcome back, Sebastian.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi. I don't know.
It happens. It happens.
If your name was Hayden, your Wi-Fi would probably work better for you. But we're just talking about Torben, and
yeah,
I was saying I didn't think it was bad enough, at least what we saw on screen, to off himself the way he did.
Yeah.
And one of my things with Torben, I don't get how. So if he's been in that meditative state for 10 years, right? Well,
Yep.
they refer to him as a master, which if there's only 16 years in between the flashback and modern storytelling, that means he goes from that, you know, pissy, I want to go home, like Jedi Knight, to a master in 6 years.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's a little far-fetched for me, considering...
How? Why?
6 years from that to a master?
Anakin goes from being a, you know, no, I feel like
6 years?
Sure. When does Obi-Wan become a master? Because he's a Jedi Knight in Attack of the Clones, but he's a master in Revenge of the Sith.
I guess that's probably true. But still, I don't know. With Torben going from... He was a good Jedi in Attack of the Clones, though. That dude was a shit Jedi in Acolyte flashback.
You don't
and then he
know
goes to a master.
It could also be one of those things where, like, he's a master because he's really good at this one thing. Like, what does it take to be a master? Like, he obviously could meditate like nobody's business. He's really good at meditating. Like, I feel like if he really just kind of shut himself out and dedicated to one thing, it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to be considered a master to do that.
I don't know. 6 years though. 6 years seems crazy quick.
I mean, you don't know anything. You don't know how long it takes to anyone. Like, you have no information about this.
But it just feels like it's
zero
fast.
information. You have zero information to base that on.
I think
about the age though. If he's a teenager, and it takes 6 years, Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones is much older than a teenager.
Hold on, let's say he's 16, right?
So he's a Jedi Master in his mid-20s.
32.
No, it's 6 years. It's not 16 years. It's 6 years. It's 6 years. 6. Like 5 years.
Okay, well, sure. But we see it 16 years later, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but he's been in the meditative state for 10, which means he had to have been given the rank of Master before the meditative state.
Sure.
Maybe they gave him the rank of Master to get him out of it. Like, hey, come on out. We'll call you Master Torben from now on. And
I'm just saying is that you don't have any information for how that works. You don't know what the qualifications are to make someone a master.
I get that. I don't have
you can get a PhD in less than 6 years, but it also might take longer depending on what you want to get a PhD in.
I mean, that's true. I don't have like the book knowledge of what a master does, but just watching Star Wars, it feels like it's fast. Like Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones isn't a young Padawan.
6 years is a lot of time. 6 years is a long time. A lot can change in 6 years.
I mean, I get that, but it just feels fast.
You get that, but then you're like, well, I get that, but I just don't like it. Like,
no, it feels fast. Like it's too quick. Going from what he went from to master, he's not even a knight, and he's already a master.
So like, maybe it took him 3 years to go. Or maybe it took him 5 of those 6 years to become a knight, and then a year to become a master because he's focused on doing the Barash vow or whatever, and that gave him masterhood.
I don't know. Like, he's the worst Jedi I've ever seen, and they gave him master.
But no, he's not. Did you see that guy deflecting those arrows? That guy, his lightsaber was singing. Absolutely singing.
Okay, well, and then he killed himself. He's the worst Jedi I've ever seen.
Maybe he was the best. Maybe that's what all the Jedi should do. There wouldn't have been the rise of the Sith if the Jedi just didn't kill themselves or just had killed themselves.
Yeah, they wouldn't have to rise. They just
No,
be
his
in
beard was
existence.
terrible though. I'll say that.
His beard was bad.
He had
That-
the worst beard.
That was not a meditative 10-year state beard. That was I didn't for a couple weeks.
Well, the thing is, like, he obviously wasn't meditating the whole time. Like, he's got to eat. Like, you can't sit there meditating for 10 years without eating or drinking. You're gonna die. You're gonna waste away.
Yeah, Obi-Wan is 35 in Attack of the Clones, and he's only a Jedi
Okay.
Knight. Like, come on, what are we doing now? That dude's like 18, if that.
So people have different paths. Again,
No, I'm not digging
you
it.
can
Torben
get a
is the worst.
PhD real fast depending on what you get a PhD in. Like, what is the meaning of being a master? Are you a master at one thing, or are you master at everything?
I feel like it's got to be like multiple things, because you can't just. I don't think you can be a master for being good at meditating. I mean, Anakin was good at killing people, and they didn't give him master. I mean, come on now.
Maybe that's like the one thing they won't give you master for being. Like, no killing.
Maybe.
But that's what I'm good at.
Maybe defeating our biggest enemies in combat. Yeah, nope, we're not. We'll put you on the council, but
Anyways, I agree. His was the weakest. But like Kelnako, I understood, but you're right. They should have said something about that. Like, that's something you shouldn't have to get from like interviews in ancillary media. They should say something about Mad Claw.
Torben was a master at
Torben was a
annoying
master
Zach.
at
That
annoying
is fact.
Zach.
I'll give you that. He is a master at that.
It's true.
I will say this, with the finale, I saw a lot of people frustrated over the cameos. I thought the cameos were fine. I would have been. I think
I thought they were great.
I would have been frustrated if Yoda had a bigger role than he did, because I feel like it would have
Distracted from the character story that we got.
I see a lot of people saying like, "Oh, they did it as a last-ditch effort." Well, first of all, no, they did not. They did not film those scenes in a couple weeks when they started to see people not like the show. That's not how that worked.
No, the whole thing had been shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Plagueis hiding in the shadows, and then Yoda just being there, that was fine for me. That's
Sure.
all I. That is all I liked Plagueis more than Yoda, because in my mind I'm like, I know Yoda's alive during this time.
Sure.
But
yeah.
Plagueis was only mentioned once in all of the media, and to see him there and to have it confirmed that that's Plagueis, I'm like, I want to know more about what he's doing now.
Sure.
So,
and the thing that gets me is a lot of people think they know, or they go, "Oh, he's there for this. He's there watching this. He's there because he's already like." You don't know any of that information. You have no idea why he's there, or who he's related to, or what he is or isn't to Kamir or the stranger or whatever we're calling him. Like, he's just there in a cave.
Yep.
You're making everything else up. And then get mad at it.
Well, and I think that's what leads to, it's like, okay, well,
hold on.
Sebastian, we're losing you. We're losing you. You're turning into Wat Tambor.
Season 2 will come along,
Techno
and it turns
Union.
out he's not there. They're theories, and then
Sebastian,
when it doesn't
Hold on. You're gonna have to say all of that again.
We lost you. We lost you for a second. Yeah, you turned into Wat Tambor.
No, what happens is people come up with these theories, and then when the theories don't pan out, they hate it. It's like, if it's not what I came up with, then it's garbage. It's trash.
Right.
It's a terrible story. So by them saying, "Oh, he's the master," and then we see, maybe in season 2 he's not. He's just another guy looking for Sith. People, that shouldn't be it. He's supposed to be Kymir's master or whatever. So I don't like this show anymore.
Yeah.
Like, stop making your theories and your fantasies about what you want the show to be. That it needs to happen exactly as that, or it's not going to be good. Like, it could still
let them tell the story.
Yeah.
Basically, just let them tell the story.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't get people being mad that Yoda popped up at the end. It's like, no, like, why are we mad that
He's
Star Wars
old.
characters pop up in Star Wars shows?
It would have been weirder if he had.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But then the other thing about that is people think they know what's going to happen. They think, oh, and Vernestra is going to tell Yoda everything, and so Yoda's going to know, and that breaks canon this way. But like, they don't know anything. Like, all she did was walk in the room. Like,
She
you
said,
don't know.
We need to
That's
talk.
all. That's all she said.
if I have anybody come to me and say we need to talk, I have like 1,000 things going through my head of what
Yeah.
possibly going to say. I don't have it narrowed down to, I know what this is about. Like, just let it go. Maybe she's leaving the order. Maybe she is going to tell him. Like, just let it pan out. And like, if you want just your stuff to go through, go get a job with Lucasfilm writing their shows then.
Yeah. I didn't like that she basically Batman or Dark Knighted Soul and blamed everything on him.
Yeah, that's
he was the Jedi. He wasn't the Jedi they deserved, but he was the Jedi they needed.
Yep.
Yeah, they did Soul dirty. Vanessa did Soul.
They
really
did.
Dirty.
She did. She 100% did Soul dirty.
Yep.
I do think the Acolyte did a good job with like setting up a more interesting season 2, because I think the premises or the storylines that it's set up for season 2 to me are more interesting than the ones we got in season 1. Like the OSHA and May stuff didn't really hit with me. I thought the season 1 was very up and down. I think it ended well, and I think I'm looking forward to season 2 more than I would be because of what it set up. Like we have a legit master and apprentice, Chimere and Plagueis, and then we have Chimere doing. Well,
we don't know if Chimere is Plagueis'.
Well, Leslie
apprentice.
had in an interview confirmed it.
Did she?
Confirmed
Okay.
it. Yeah, in an interview. So we know that he is getting his own like third apprentice, like an acolyte, like Asajj Ventress is, and Darth Maul was when Palpatine was under Plagueis.
Yep.
And then I think, obviously the Jedi stuff with May now helping them find Chimere, and then now Chimere being Vernestra's Padawan, they'll have a conflict.
Oh, for sure. I want to see that happen for sure. I was hoping something was going to happen, but I knew it wouldn't because there wasn't enough time in that episode. Like when he showed up, I'm like, oh, they're not going to do anything with this because it's going to end in like 5 minutes. But yeah, I really want to see whatever that was.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I agree, Pletho. I definitely want an episode 8 OSHA in her like little Sith outfit or whatever.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
anyway,
I thought, Acolyte was solid. It was a fine show. I don't think it was as bad as a lot of people think it is, and I don't think it's
agreed.
I don't think it's a great show. I think it's better than Book of Boba Fett still, but I haven't rewatched Book of Boba Fett and I haven't rewatched this, so I'll try to do a rewatch on both of them. Yeah. But I do think this was probably a little better. But I mean, the Mandalorian and Luke stuff was really good in Book of Boba Fett. But
there's good parts in Acolyte too. There's good parts in all of them. There's things to like in everything.
Yeah. So I thought it was fine. I'm looking forward to season 2 more than I was 3 weeks ago. With the way they wrapped it.
Agreed.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think that'll do it for this episode.
Yeah, great episode. Episode 76, Black Series Cantina. All the SDCC reveals were pretty great. Before we get going, Sebastian, I know you have some socials out there. If you want to give those a quick plug real quick.
Yeah, sure. So my Instagram and YouTube accounts, Corellian_Collectibles. I haven't been too active on YouTube lately. I've found more 1-minute reviews on Instagram seem to be going over a little bit better, so you might see more of those out of me. I try to post at least 3 or 4 times a day, keeping up with the news, strictly Black Series, so that's all you'll see out of my account. I update news, different things that I get. I'm looking at trying to grow that, maybe doing like a review once a week, even of older figures, and then maybe doing like wish lists every week. Cool. Kind of on a normal schedule. But yeah, if anybody out there wants to follow me on Instagram, Corellian_Collectibles, that's where I'm at.
A severely underfollowed page, like whenever you post those graphs of TVC and Black Series and all that, like you do a lot of work. So
I appreciate it. The one I liked the most was the different terms in Black Series.
Yeah, that was good. We needed that. We needed that big time.
I feel like a lot of people were getting confused with that. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna put some visuals out there. That was the teacher in me coming out. That's what I needed to do. So
yeah, I like that.
Thanks.
Mike, do you have any videos you're working on? Anything you want to plug before we wrap up?
I mean, I just did a video on all the Street Fighter figures I showed off. I'm gonna do videos on all of these Star Wars figures that I did on. I'm gonna do them all. But tomorrow I'm gonna be down at San Diego, in the Comic-Con area. I won't be in Comic-Con because I don't have a pass, but there's like a lot of stuff to do down there, like getting drunk and going to the Sonic. It's not like a Sonic, like a hamburger place. It's like a Sonic the Hedgehog hamburger place. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. So if you're in San Diego for Comic-Con tomorrow and you're listening to this, just hit me up. We can get a beer or something. I don't know.
You can follow me on Instagram at blackseriescantina. I post all the updates for the show there. Follow me on TikTok at the Star Wars Black Series. I did a video about all the reveals from SDCC, so go please like that and watch it for 5 seconds or longer if you can. That really helps me out. Join our Facebook group, Black Series Cantina on Facebook. It's a great chat. I'm going to be posting the figures revealed if somebody hasn't, so we can talk about those in there. And we post, that's mostly where we talk about, like, or update when we're going live and stuff. If you liked listening to us, if you're new here to Black Series Cantina, go sub to us on any podcasting app you can listen to us, because we are Black Series News on the go. If you want to listen to us at work in your headphones, so you don't necessarily have to watch us on YouTube. If you do want to watch us on YouTube, if that's your preferred medium, you can sign up for our Patreon. And just $5 a month gets you access to the video. Or you can even just do like $2 a month. So not a whole lot, and we appreciate any support out there. There is a deluxe VIP spot open. I mean, that is quite a commitment, but you do get your own show with us once a month. So it's like an extra Black Series Cantina episode. You know, maybe sometimes it'll be with just me or just Mike, or maybe even both of us a lot of months. But you do get your own show every month whenever we're available and you're available. So if you want to, if that is of interest to you, sign up for that. Please like this video. If you're new to this, we don't use this YouTube a lot. It's just kind of a medium for us to post old episodes or to go live whenever we do something like this. So subscribe to, you're distracting me in the chat, Mike. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you're here. Please like and leave a review on your podcast platforms. That goes a long way if you can't support us financially. We have merch. We have, T-shirts, hoodies, shirts, mugs, everything you can think of. Follow us on Twitter at TBitsCantina. Facebook group, Black Series Cantina. Shoot us an email to keep the email segment alive, blackseriescantina@gmail.com. And we will be back in 2 weeks to talk about more Black Series news and rumors, bringing those to your eardrums. So we will see you then. May the Force be with you. And happy SDCC Reveal Day. This was a very, very great day for reveals. And I'll leave you on that. Mike, take us out.
Bye.